ESPN Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening after missing the last 9 weeks with a calf strain and tendinosis in his right leg. Lakers power forward Anthony Davis ready to return tonight against the Mavericks. He'll be limited to around 15 minutes for the first 2 games he plays, according to Coach Frank Vogel. Restrictions will be gradually released from there. A couple of things to keep an eye on when it comes to AD in his first game since February 14th, notes ESPN NBA analyst Monica McNutt.
If I see that up and under and maybe a three-point shot, I will think that those are good signs. The most important thing is you don't want to see him favoring that leg at all. You want to see if he can get up and down the floor. If he's rebounding, he'll likely have to match up with Willie Cauley-Stein, and if he feels comfortable being physical. But in 15 minutes, we're only going to get a very small sample size.
Our Monica McNutt. Meantime, LeBron James still likely a couple weeks away from returning from his high ankle sprain. Giants GM Dave Gettleman insisting he'd trade back in the NFL draft, called it an urban myth he's unwilling to. Of the 54 selections that Gettleman's made as a GM, he's traded up a few times, but never back. New York's got the 11th overall pick next week.
It's time for some Straight Talk. Cutting your wireless bill in half feels good. Home run in the ninth good. Straight Talk offers 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys on America's best networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Welcome to Moe's. That is something that's been very effective in the marketing. Whoever came up with that was a good idea. We are at Moe's in St. Augustine, where they serve breakfast. The only one that does it, breakfast burritos. Yeah, we're in the afternoon, but they actually serve breakfast down here. We've been telling you about it for the last couple of months, and we are down in St. Augustine live at the Moe's location, US 1 and 312. Good to be out on a beautiful day, a little cooler day in Jacksonville. Brent Martineau here, Austin Lane in the Action Sports Jack studios. Dana White on the interview list today as UFC comes to Jacksonville. UFC 260, Austin?
Absolutely. You nailed it. Somebody's doing their homework.
And a big card, like a fantastic card. We will talk a little bit with Dana White, but you're fired up as an MMA fighter, but also as a UFC fan.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Dana White did the city of Jacksonville a favor here with this one.
All right. Welcome to Moses, a pretty good branding idea. I think whoever did that, got that, should probably get a raise along the way. That's a pretty good one, right?
Yeah, for sure. As usual, are they doing it where you walk in and they say, welcome to Moe's, like in unison?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing, right? I was thinking about that today. I was like, as it was coming down, like, that's really been effective. Like, what other slogan brand names have been effective like that over the years? And I'm sure it's more promotionally by commercial or like, Coke. Coke is it, right? That was that. They even enjoyed, don't they? Coke?
Yeah. Yep.
But you kind of know Coke from, they had the whole polar bear thing going on for a bit. I don't know if they even still do. Budweiser, right, has the Clydesdales.
Yep.
But less of a slogan, I believe. And, of course, it's a little different. It's not like something you walk into, and you're greeted. But kind of an unusual way to do it. Just a welcome. It's almost like a Walmart greeter, but it's a slogan that stands here at Moe's.
Well, and obviously I'm not a Budweiser fan myself, but I would think their slogan would be the king of beers, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. But obviously, being from Wisconsin, I'm more of a Miller man myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. You sound like you got allergies or something? You a little congested today?
No, I'm
sick.
No, do I sound messed up, Casey?
Oh, messed up's a little strong.
No, you sound fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm talking like I usually do. I think maybe
you sound like I usually sound to me. That's why.
I got you.
My headphones instead. Yeah. Hey, we are a week away from the draft. Like, this will be a long week, won't it?
You're not. Brent. It's been a long month, been a long 2 months, really, if we're thinking about it here.
I know. Listen, there's many reasons you never want the number one pick. I'm glad they had it this time around. But I'm not sure we need it anytime in the near future again, because that's twofold. One, that means they're not doing very well and things are not working out. But the hype machine, holy cow. Good thing the Jags weren't like 2 or 3 games ahead in the number one pick category like way back in October.
Yeah.
And it just started in like mid-December instead. But it is a lot of hype that is coming to a conclusion. It's really been fun, though, over it. It's so unique to kind of go through this as the number one pick and Trevor Lawrence. And I know there's been some redundancies in the conversation. Certainly there is. It's the biggest story in town. But it's still been kind of cool. And one thing that hasn't changed, Austin, you can really feel it. You can feel the fans. I said it yesterday a little bit. You feel it with Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke and the messaging. And then did you see last night, Jaguars.com has another edition of The Hunt coming out. And the team meeting, they played a little clip from that. I mean, that gets you going a little bit as a fan, I would think.
Yeah, it gives more behind-the-scenes action and stuff like that, and fans can't get enough of that right now, especially since we are in the off-season, and it's slowly going to crescendo until the draft, and obviously the draft into training camp into the regular season. So, obviously, I need Jaguars content now with Urban Meyer, with the future Trevor Lawrence. It's great because it's fresh and it's new and exciting to fans. And just like a new TV show, just like a new movie, everyone's hyped up about it.
Yeah, and they should be hyped up about this. I mean, any glimpse we get at Trevor Lawrence right now, I feel like it's like paparazzi on TMZ or something. There was Jordan Palmer, on Instagram, put like a throw or two, and everybody's like, hey, there's some video on Jordan Palmer's Instagram.
Sure.
For throwing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think is a very good sign, right? From the surgery. Like was that new video? Like, I'm assuming that was new video because it was tweeted out by a lot of the national guys as well. And that's coming off the surgery. Must be doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's got to be doing well. It's his non-throwing shoulder. So, obviously, there is some use to it when you're throwing a football, but overall, he's back on the field throwing footballs. That's what you like to see from your quarterback.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to him about that part of it and what went down, because I understand you can play with a little pain, you can throw a little pain. I'll still always go back to the pro day when he was having surgery a week later, and of course he spent a couple months, I think, in a sling, and I said, I couldn't even tell he was hurt. Like, if you didn't tell me he was having surgery, he didn't look that uncomfortable. And so the backstory on that will be an interesting one if he chooses to share once he gets here in Jacksonville. But Trevor Lawrence, no doubt, on the way. Other big NFL stories continue to develop. We talked to Devontae Smith. Have an interesting thought or two, and Casey came up with this. Think about this for a little bit. We'll get back to it. But a quick thought, Austin. Devontae Smith and the size, Casey, producer Casey, that is, said something about Deshaun Jackson and his career and what he did to an offense and his size, and would you sign up for that in the first round if you're a team for a guy like Deshaun Jackson's career? Is that a decent comp?
I get exactly where he's coming from. Deshaun Jackson was the over-the-top guy. I think Urban Meyer would love a guy like Deshaun Jackson. It comes down to the theory of do you risk it in the first round, whether you have to trade up or whatever the case may be, for Deshaun Jackson. And I think that when you look at his stats, probably his best year was his second year. He had 9 touchdowns, over 1,100 yards receiving. Yeah, and I get it's a great comparison. I get what he's saying. I think he's also even a little upgrade from Deshaun Jackson, because Deshaun Jackson, to me, was the guy who ran those vertical routes. Now, sure, maybe he spent some time in the slot as well. To me, Devontae Smith, though, you can kind of line up all over the field, run some gadgets with and things like that. So I would almost say, at least out of college, he seems like a more dynamic Deshaun Jackson for sure.
Yeah, he's a 175-pound guy, by the way, and in his career, 612 receptions, over 10,000 yards, 17.4 yards per catch, 56 touchdowns. That's a pretty nice career now.
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff for Deshaun Jackson. And so would Devontae Smith be worth that? I would say that's pretty healthy. And I'm not talking just for the Jags. I'm talking for any team. You don't have to move up to get him necessarily, but like what we were talking with Devontae Smith yesterday, because of the size, would you pick him at 8? Would you spend a 12th overall pick on Deshaun Jackson? Would you spend a 15th overall pick on Deshaun Jackson? Would you get that kind of production? Would it be worth it? Was kind of where Casey was coming from, and I think that puts it in perspective a little bit. Something else I was thinking about yesterday after the show is we talk about all these guys, Austin. This happens every year in the draft, where you talk about, this guy's going to be great. And, boy, man, if you had 5 picks in the first 10, I'd take Penei Sewell, and I'd take Jamar Chase, and I'd take Devontae Smith, and I'd take Micah Parsons, and I'd take Kyle Pitts, and I'd take all these guys. Well, we talk them all like, wow, if the Jags got him, if the Jags got him, if the Jags got him, or if your team got this player. Well, the draft tells us, man, that about half of these guys are just okay players, and some of them are busts. So you have to be a little careful here. And when you talk about Devontae Smith and break some of these guys down, I know everybody's like, well, everybody's going to break every player down. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, all the rest of them. Well, history tells us that the trend is there's going to be some busts in the NFL draft. And so when we put a red flag up potentially about 166-pound Devontae Smith, well, that could lend you to think this guy might not be as great as a lot of people are predicting he might be. And while that sounds asinine right now because everybody's so hopeful leading into the draft about their teams and all these good players, good-looking players coming out of college, it's really not, because so many of these players end up as just normal players, average players, or busts. So it's a harder science to do, Austin, but as much as we kind of prop guys up and say, man, that guy's good, that guy's good, that guy's good, it would almost be an interesting conversation of, okay, who's got the best chance to be a bust?
Yeah, for sure. And when we talk about busts, there's a lot of things that go into that, right? It goes into depending on the team that they go to, depending on exactly what they ask from the scheme, depending on, can the coaches cultivate their greatest potential. There's a lot of things that go on when we say the word bust. With Devontae Smith, do I foresee him being a bust? Absolutely not. Like, if the Jacksonville Jaguars got Devontae Smith, you wouldn't ask him to be the number 1 receiver right away, right? It's just like A.J. Brown when he was in Tennessee, and it's just like DK Metcalf when he was in Seattle. Like, nobody thought DK Metcalf was going to be the top receiver, right? I think people were still on the Tyler Lockett train, and he's still playing at a pretty high level. But DK Metcalf eventually, learned the game. He was coached the right way, and he evolved. He used his skill set, used his speed. And now, unequivocally, he's the top receiver. He's the number 1 go-to guy on the Seattle Seahawks. When we look at Devontae Smith, you still have DJ Chark. You still have Marvin Jones, right? We'll see with Laviska Shenault. We'll see with Conley as well. I'm sorry, not Conley, Colin Johnson. We'll see with him as well. With Devontae Smith, once again, he can be the gadget guy. He can be, throw him in here, throw him in there. But you're not asking Devontae Smith, in my opinion, to play out of himself year 1. Now, maybe eventually he picks up and he becomes the guy that we hope he's going to be if he's on Jacksonville, and he becomes the go-to receiver. He becomes the Tyreek Hill, if you will. But to me, that's what sets apart from just an okay receiver or maybe a bust potential receiver to maybe be a great receiver when you don't ask him too much right away. I think it would be feasible if Devontae Smith comes to Jacksonville. Hey, Devontae, we understand you're undersized. That's okay. We're going to set you up to succeed. All we need out of you, realistically, let's get at least 750 yards receiving, all right? Let's get maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns. You can do that, right? Let's get you in these gadgets a little bit, maybe a couple jet sweeps, whatever the case may be. But we're not going to have you play outside yourself because we have the guys around you that can make you great. That's what I'd be focusing on right now if I'm drafting a receiver at the 25 spot or if I move up and try to trade for one.
Yeah, and by the way, Austin, I think what you just said there is what every team would love to be able to do anyway, regardless of position or pick. I mean, you'd love to be in a situation where you don't need that first-round guy to do too much. Let him get acclimated to the NFL. Josh Allen's a great example in his rookie year. Had a very nice season, but they didn't necessarily say, Josh, can you come in here and get 15 sacks, please? They still had good players on that side of the ball and to kind of help him along. And what happened? Well, Josh had a very nice rookie season and now has grown into where he can be the guy, or you hope he can be the guy. So I think that part is not everybody can do that, and I'm not even sure Trevor Lawrence fits that. Do the Jags need Trevor Lawrence, Austin, to right away be very good, or can they bring him along at a slower rate?
With Trevor Lawrence, I think the expectations are put out for him already. I think that if he doesn't win, and keep in mind, this is a lot of pressure, and I understand that, but the way this city has hyped it up, the way we in the media have hyped it up, I think if Trevor Lawrence doesn't win Rookie of the Year, it'll be a disappointment. I think if Trevor Lawrence, if they don't win, realistically, let's say 6 games this season, or maybe I'll say 6 games would be the number. If they don't win 6 games, well, that could be a disappointment. So from Trevor's perspective, it's different because you're the number 1 overall pick. And anytime you're drafted at least in the top 10, top 15, that means you're going to a team that didn't do that well the previous year. And they're bringing you in to succeed right away. They're bringing you in to get the reps. Like, I get what you're saying with Josh Allen, but Josh Allen was brought in right away to make a difference. Obviously, his playing time, his amount of reps would say that. I think if you look at number 25 and the wide receiver position, yeah, you're going to bring a guy in to make a difference, but you don't need him to go out there and be a Pro Bowler year 1. You just need him to go out there and gradually get better as the season progresses.
Yeah, I agree with that, too. I mean, and like what you said about Devontae Smith is, yeah, you want him to make an impact. Like Urban Meyer said yesterday, we want the first 4 or 5 guys to be impact players. Like, I think of a Brandon Ayuk kind of player for San Francisco. He was an impact player, wasn't an all-pro player. There's a difference there, and both are okay. I mean, I'd love for him to be an all-pro in his rookie year, but that's not the expectation is my point. And I'm not sure, to your point, Rookie of the Year doesn't make you an all-pro either. It just makes you better than some of the other players out there and in a better situation. Herbert obviously came in and ran away with that award. And I think, did he make a Pro Bowl? He might have even made the Pro Bowl with the numbers he put up.
But also keep in mind, though, he didn't run away with it because Joe Burrow was on his way to win it himself, and then he gets hurt.
True.
Because it was back and forth between Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And I think it's realistic to expect the Rookie of the Year from Trevor Lawrence just because he's not coming to the worst situation right now, maybe like Joe Burrow had with no offensive line. The offensive line in Jacksonville, decent. Wide receivers, pretty good. Running game, there. Defense, we'll see. But there are a lot of things in Trevor Lawrence's favor right now that should make him a successful quarterback right off the get-go.
Yeah, well, I think what you just said is very interesting. Can he duplicate what Burrow was on pace to do? And I think the expectation with what you just mentioned, maybe a better situation around him, and also a better prospect, let's be honest. Now, Burrow had an unbelievable year, but Burrow isn't a better prospect than Trevor Lawrence is. And so I think those are reasonable, lofty but reasonable expectations for Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to try this, okay, and put you on the spot. I'm giving you 3 picks. You got to make 3 of them in the top 20. And I'm going to go off Kuiper and McShay's mock draft. 3 that will be disappointments. I'm not going to go as far as saying busts. But everybody who's picked in the top 20, the expectation is they're like a 5-time Pro Bowler. Give me 3 that will jump out as I list these.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
I know you don't like to say anything bad about anybody, but I'm going to make you do it.
Have you listened to Shock Your Mock? That's all I've been doing. Kidding me?
All right, Trevor Lawrence. Don't use one of them on Trevor, please.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. We're good.
All right, Zach Wilson.
Okay.
Justin Fields. Kyle Pitts. This is like the what was that game show where like the Whammer or something like that? Was that what it was called? The Stopper or the
No Whammies?
No
Press your luck?
Is that what it was? Yeah.
If that's what you're talking about, big money, no whammies?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And so I like going along. And
wait, so do you want me to announce when there's going to be a bust?
Yeah, kind of as I'm going along.
Okay,
I want you to use the Whammer button.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You want me to start over? Trevor,
no, you're fine. Yeah.
Zach,
Yep.
Justin Fields, Kyle Pitts, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, Mac Jones.
Stop.
I knew you were going to do that.
Well, yeah.
I think he would be a popular pick here, to be honest.
For sure.
I think he's going to be very good because I think it's going to be a good quarterback class, and I wouldn't have picked any of the quarterbacks like this. But
I think it depends where he goes to. I think that if
this has him in New England, by the way.
Well, then in New England, you think he's going to succeed for sure. But I think it could be maybe the Sam Darnold effect a little bit, where he goes to a team that's in desperate need of a quarterback, but doesn't have the offense to help motivate him and bring him, to a new echelon.
Yeah, I hear you. It's a bad situation, right?
Correct.
Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle, Northwestern.
I'm a believer.
You can come back to it if you need it.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, Denver. Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith.
I think for the just because I have to say somebody because we're in the top 10 and not everyone's going to make it here. Not everyone's going to be a great draft pick. I'm going to say Patrick Surtain.
Of course you are. He's my Trevon Diggs this year.
Exactly.
Jalen Waddle, Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle, Virginia Tech. Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive tackle, guard, USC. Micah Parsons. J.C. Horn, corner out of South Carolina.
All right, so real quick, Micah Parsons. Beast in terms of he's got all the intangibles, okay? And, like, when I say bust, like, I think people are expecting him to come in right away and be, like, maybe a 10-sack guy. I can't see that just because I think he has to work on his instincts a little more and has to refine his skills. So I'm going to say Micah Parsons. Could
be a disappointment. Okay, Trevon Merrick, by the way, in this mock has been taken by the Raiders at 17.
Okay.
Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah, the Notre Dame linebacker.
Yep.
Jamin Davis, the linebacker, Kentucky, who's just, man, he's exploded up the board.
Okay, yeah, absolutely bust potential.
Really?
Yes.
Just because he's come out of nowhere, right?
Well, he's unproven. He hasn't had a lot of, last year was kind of the breakout year for him, and obviously his numbers are big. But and still, like, he's got that raw talent. So someone's gonna have to cultivate that and refine his skill set. So he could be a bust if he doesn't go to the right team.
All right, the last one here was 20, Caleb Farley, the
Virginia Tech
corner.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That's it. Those are the top 20, at least in this experiment. I'll give you a couple more real quick before we go to break. Elijah Moore. I'll give you a chance to, if you want to say he'll be a disappointment, you can. Najee Harris, Kadarius Toney.
I think Toney could be once again. It comes down to the offense that he plays in. I don't think you have to consider him as like the regular wide receiver type. I think if you go to the right offense that's creative, he's going to flourish. I think if you just line him up and tell him, hey, you're the 2, you're the 1, it could be a bust potential.
Yeah, so basically Mac Jones was on your list, Micah Parsons was on your list. Who else was on your list? Number 10, Patrick Surtain.
Yes.
Potentially a guy like Toney as well. So it's interesting. I mean, listen, the reality is there are going to be some disappointing draft picks.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't want to say anything bad about these guys, and you're not wishing it on them. But you've got to believe, Austin, inside mock draft rooms, in buildings around the league, they're doing the same thing. They're like, this guy, he's got bust potential, right?
Yep.
I mean, listen, the guy that might have the biggest boom or bust potential in this entire draft, you could have stopped at number 2. That's Zach Wilson. He might have the biggest boom or bust potential. He might be Brett Favre.
Well, and
he might not.
Keep in mind, too, with Kadarius Toney, he had his first 100-yard receiving game week 12 into his senior year.
Wow, how about that? Yeah, he really came on strong last year.
He did.
Really, he was a disappointment to it, kind of, before that for the Gators. All right, Dana White on deck here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We're down in St. Augustine, live at the Moe's here in St. Augustine. Come by, say hello. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 rolls on.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Cool but sunny today. Highs in the upper 60s to around 70. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss the buy one, get one free on wedding bands through this Sunday.
CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Ma'am, why are you getting the vaccine?
I'm getting the vaccine so that I can travel and be safe.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create Vax904.com. Visit Vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue, and it is at Willie Jules in St. Augustine at Mirabella Crossing. Open 7 days a week. It's old school barbecue. Trivia night on Monday. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. Check out the Willie Jules app and catering for all of your events. Visit williejules.com and visit Willie Jules at Mirabella Crossing in St. Augustine. Old school barbecue, smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jules.
Watch Tanika Hughes and John Bachman on Action News Jacks at 5, 6, and 11.
We make it a point to cover important local news you need to know about.
Perspective is important. It's not just what happened, it's the reason why it happened and how that impacts you.
Plus, it's where you'll find the Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Weather is always changing, and my forecast will help you plan your day and week ahead.
Watch and you'll see why CBS 47 and Fox 30 is local coverage you can count on.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day. There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vita De Louis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vita De Louis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vita De Louis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vita De Louis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLouis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
I'm Rochelle Stoddard, president of Berman Brothers and Rubin Ironworks. The skills and relationships I've built through the Jacksonville Women's Business Center were essential as we succeeded in keeping all 70 of our employees on the payroll during the COVID-19 pandemic. Through the Athena PowerLink mentoring program, we had experienced professionals helping us navigate 2020. Jack's Chamber and the Women's Business Center are in our corner, making us stronger in these difficult times. For more information, please visit jackschamberfoundation.org.
Stick to your 2021 New Year's resolutions. Commit to fitness with Body Armor Sports Drink. Buy $20 worth of Body Armor products and get $10 in fitness cash to one of your favorite brands by uploading your receipt on BACommitToFit.com. Body Armor available at your local Winn-Dixie.
Come celebrate Tire Outlet's Yulee Grand Opening April 22nd through the 24th. Enter to win a 4x4 ATV or a tire and wheel package. Stop by our Yulee location during our grand opening event to fill out an entry. Tire Outlet. Wholesale prices, premium service.
Oh boy, you have that look on your face. That grumbling Greg face. Boss asking you to do work? No, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask somebody to work at work. That's why we switched to Peak Push to Talk. Yeah, Push to Talk is back. Connect instantly to anybody, anywhere in the country. Boop. Get used to the boop. And working at work, too. It's kind of the thing we do.
Boop nationwide. Learn more at booptotalk.com.
Why can't I ever find my people? You can now when you boop. Did you say boop? And you'll beep your crew nationwide with Peak Push to Talk. Booping is back. And better than ever from Peak Push to Talk. A boop and you're instantly talking to your crew.
No more texting. No more it was on silent. No more never returned calls.
Nope, just boop.
Boop. Find your people with a boop at booptotalk.com.
Boop.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
But we could really take this show off the rails if we wanted to go all like half politics, half sports.
Austin Lane.
I mean, have you been on Twitter lately? Do you want extra $100,000? Do you want a scholarship? Let's go politics when we get back here.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Breaking jaws, bones, cheekbones. Last time I broke his nose with 6-day notice. I'm going to play doctor on his face. I'm just going to slice and dice. Whatever I catch, I'm going to take home with me. You know? I see a very violent ending no matter what. I just want to get in there and compete.
Austin, who was it?
That was Jorge Masvidal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got you.
Figured I'd give you a freebie.
I bet that's how it goes, isn't it? I bet that's how it goes, yes.
Hey, your thoughts on this real quick. We're going to have Dana White on hopefully momentarily, have him on for a few minutes leading up to UFC 261. Listen, the background here is easy. Jacksonville helped bring sports back to the world. Like, live sporting event in Jacksonville with UFC last year. Here we are a year later. Well, now we get full capacity. And while it's not the first full capacity event because the Texas Rangers have had one, there's been a few others. This is a big deal, and it's right here in Jacksonville with a major card. How big of a deal is it in the UFC world?
Yeah, obviously it's a big deal for our city, number one, first and foremost. That's probably the most important part. But if you saw how quickly tickets sold out for this thing, and if you've seen tickets so far in terms of StubHub or wherever like your secondary market, and you see how expensive they are still, you know how big of an event this is. And yeah, obviously the card is stacked. It's featuring 3 championship fights, which is, that's kind of a rarity. But what really sells this thing is the fact it's back with the full crowd again. So you're going to watch the fights, but I think a lot of people are going to go to this thing, that are maybe not from Jacksonville just because they can say, I was there. I was there when the UFC opened the gates back up, and I was there for the first essentially live show in the United States.
Listen, there's been some really good UFC cards over the years. I mean, in the last year, how good is this one?
Top to bottom, barn burner. Okay? It's got a little bit of everything, and I'm going to break this down later, but it's got the animosity between Jorge Masvidal and Kamaru Usman, and that always makes for a good main event fight when two guys don't like each other. They don't like each other. It's going to showcase, and keep in mind, men's or women's, doesn't really matter. It's going to showcase, in my opinion, 4 of the best mixed martial artists in general. And obviously when we say mixed martial artists, we talk about jiu-jitsu, we talk about boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, the grappling, all that stuff. When we talk about Valentina Shevchenko, and then you talk about Rose Namajunas, who's going to be taking on Weili Zhang, and then you even got a girl by the name of Jessica Andrade who seemed to find a new weight class now. It's kind of like the female version of Mike Tyson, if you will. But what all these girls have in common, these 4 girls, is they're fantastic everywhere. They're great with submissions. They're great with striking, and it's just it's the highest of the highest level in terms of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, and I think it's got a little bit of something for everyone on the card. And I guess with all the different styles and all probably the different tastes for UFC and favorites, and happens in all sports, right? There's a little bit of something for everyone right here in Jacksonville coming up Saturday night, sold out. It really has been interesting to watch. We have had a lot of people in our building say, hey, got any tickets? How can we get tickets? Hey, Austin, you've been in the cage before. How much of a discount do you get for actually having weapons as hands?
Yeah, nothing like complete strangers reaching out to me and saying, hey, could we get the hookup? And it's like, just because, I do MMA on a, pretty much a regional scene right now, doesn't mean I have the hookup where I just have this endless supply of UFC tickets. It's a very tough ticket to get, rightfully so, because it is the first live event of mixed martial arts back in the States. So, yeah, needless to say, I think a lot of people want to go, but unfortunately probably won't be able to. But it'll be interesting to see if Jacksonville becomes a hub now for MMA, right? Like, when the UFC was rocking and shows are selling out. Like Orlando was kind of the hub, right? There's hubs all around the country. I wonder going forward now if the UFC in Jacksonville starts to become like a regular thing here for this city.
Well, that's a great. I was going to ask you that because it seems now there's a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And how long? I just don't get the sense that this is a one-off thing, and last year was a one thing, and this is a thank you for that. I get the sense that there's a little bit of that in it, but I would also imagine this could be the start of a long relationship here in the state of Florida, but especially here in Jacksonville. Between Dana White, UFC, and the River City. When we had him on last year, I mean, he spoke glowingly about everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's the reason he's coming back as well. And that can only help. I mean, you know it because you train guys in it too.
Yeah.
Do you get the feel at all that UFC, MMA here in Northeast Florida, here in the state of Florida, here in Jacksonville, has grown exponentially, or is it just the way it's kind of keeping pace with everywhere else around the country and even around the world?
So this is an interesting tidbit of why I think Jacksonville could be a hub going forward. When you talk about mixed martial arts in general in Jacksonville, it's definitely behind like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, things like that. Like there's some of the best gyms in the world are in Southern Florida. Now, I think Jacksonville is starting to rise a little bit. I don't think there's ever really been a UFC fighter from Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken. But what makes it intriguing, per se, and why it could be a hub is because there are so many fighters in South Florida, or like in the Orlando area. There's a lot of gyms there. And having to pose, especially because let's keep in mind, like we're not out of the woods quite yet with this pandemic and everything. I think it makes it a lot easier, guys traveling from South Florida to go to Jacksonville than to fly all the way to Las Vegas, right? And then we can come down from the East Coast too, when you have guys in New York or you have guys in South Carolina, North Carolina. Those guys, it makes it a pretty easy trip to come to Jacksonville as well. So, if we're talking about the East Coast and one of the most ideal spots to have fights, I think it would be Jacksonville. Not to say, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, like those are, and Dallas or Houston, those will still be the hubs as well because, they've always been famous fight cities. But I think Jacksonville in itself can offer something down the line.
All right, here's what I want to do, Casey. Let's see if we can get you on the fly. We're how about a 2 or 3 minute break just so we don't get stuck. When Dana White gives us a buzz, scheduled to call in any moment. But, Casey, let's take a couple-minute timeout if you're ready for that. We come back. Hopefully Dana White joins us. Big event coming up on Saturday right here in Jacksonville, UFC 261.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter update.
Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The NFL Rules Committee approved a few new rules, including a one-year experiment to make recovering onside kicks more plausible, where the kicking team would only be allowed 9 players within 25 yards of the ball. Other changes included are the relaxing of numbers that only certain positions could wear and the eliminating of overtime in the preseason, amongst other rule changes. Last night in the NBA, the 76ers' Joel Embiid almost sent the game against the Suns in overtime with a full court shot that rimmed out at the last second, finalizing the score of Phoenix 116 and Philly 113. Here's Embiid after the game.
I mean, when I threw it, it looked good. I mean, he almost there. I saw the screenshot, and it looked like he went in and out, and that's just unfortunate.
The SportsCenter update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
The biggest difference between the athletes of today and the athlete of Shaquille O'Neal's generation is Twitter. And with Twitter in particular, social media in general, but with Twitter in particular, the generation of athletes who grew up in that consider it to be important enough that they do not ignore it. They hear it, they live it, they respond to it, they internalize it. It matters to them.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special, too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue. Open 7 days a week. It's old school barbecue. Trivia night on Monday. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. Check out the Willie Jules app and catering for all of your events. Visit williejules.com and visit Willie Jules at Mirabella Crossing in St. Augustine. Old school barbecue, smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jules.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Sir, why are you getting the vaccine?
Well, I might get a concert with my friends in a full arena.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency.com. Visit vax904.com or call 357-MATION.
Ah, boy, you have that look to do work. No, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask somebody to work at work. That's why we switched to peak push to talk. Yeah, push, boop. Get used to the talk.
Booping is back.
And better to your crew.
No more texting. No more it was on silent. No more never returned calls.
No.
FindYourPeople.com.
Boop.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a friendly golf course design. It'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
It's Good Morning at Moe's in St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1. It's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. Made to order food in the drive-thru. Hot, fresh breakfast on the go. Make it a better morning with Moe's Southwest Grill. Start your days with the home wrecker breakfast burrito. Daily at 6 a.m. Moe's is...
To all you do-it-yourselfers, get ready to welcome Frand now has their own new line of motor oil and fluids. And it's only at Advance and CarQuest Auto Parts. 4 new Fram oil change bundles. They have the oil and filters you need to keep your engine running stronger, longer.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN.
Well, I think the jury got it right, and that horrific video is going to forever be in all of our minds. Look forward.
That was Urban Meyer yesterday, his reaction to the Derek Chauvin verdict earlier this week and George Floyd death. Austin, this is something every coach, leader has addressed, will need to in general. Players are so in tune with what's going on, trying to help make change across the board, across the organizations. We did talk about this when he was initially hired, but not Urban Meyer, where I still think he would have had to address this and be a good listener in a collegiate locker room. But I do get the sense it might be how much of the continuation and work being done for Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. It's everything to every coach right now around the NFL. I think that when you come from college where you're dealing predominantly more with, and then you get to the NFL where it's grown men, just can't give a pep talk to, right? That's, again, grown men. So there is a difference there. You know, I mean, there's still the same fundamental, opinions and all of that stuff. Add accordingly. You know, you have power that players have in the NFL that everything you say, everything that you lead for, everything different in that locker room. And it can players such as Drew Brees, who spoke out against, in the beginning, players' room. I believe it was Malcolm Jenkins went on his tirade a little bit on social media. It's one of those things where you have to be passionate about for sure. Channel that passion and channel that energy and have those guys in that locker room. Because Urban Meyer's a passionate guy. Right? Has the ear of that entire locker room. It can be great when you're trying to motivate your players, when you're trying to lead a change, when you're trying to lead a charge. But if that passion is misplaced, it can backfire in your face like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, and I think Doug Marrone did a very good job. Is that a good characterization? Last year,
I think the entire Jaguars organization did a fantastic job. They felt team to literally headed by Doug Marrone, Shad Khan, whoever the case may be. I thought it was a great job by the entire organization.
And obviously the eloquence of Chris Conley was highlighted on the steps of JSO. Where are we almost a year later in these discussions, Austin? Not a daily headline. It's still a constant headline and a constant conversation, which down it all. But it's not as news channel or, do you feel like the sports figures, everybody that protest things a year ago, wayside, has continued to fight the fight? Where is it in the Black Lives Matter movement and the messaging from athletes especially and professional teams?
Look, I think the message is still there. Now, just because we don't see it in the media every single day, just because, and listen, I don't have to go on a giant rant about how the national media works, but obviously it's topical and it's what's going to get the most viewership and sometimes not the most important things. I think these conversations are happening every single day in locker rooms still, whether it's MLB, NBA, NHL, NFL. Like, these conversations are still taking place every single day. They need to. If they weren't, which I think they are, but if they weren't, I would be highly disappointed. So I think players are still trying to lead that change because this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, and one cop being put away for something that he shouldn't have done, like that's not going to change everything. No, that's a step in the right direction, but that's not going to change everything. And I think as the modern era athlete, and once again, regardless of the sport, keeps realizing that their voice is so powerful and they can make the change, I think you're going to see more people speaking out. I don't think we've even scratched the surface yet of what athletes are capable of, and I understand there's going to be a group of people that don't like that'll probably turn the TV off, and then it is what it is. But I don't think these conversations are going anywhere because it's too important of a conversation to have within these locker rooms and with on the field.
Well, and in that regard, we have two situations since the Chauvin verdict that got everybody going. And they're two separate incidents, I believe. One is, not even incidents, two separate things. One is the Las Vegas Raiders and Mark Davis taking accountability for it, saying that it was his idea to tweet, "I can breathe." And by the way, George Floyd's younger brother has supported that statement.
Well, that's what he said.
Yes.
Yeah,
he said that. And so
he was quoted saying that.
That was an interesting 24 hours or so, right? I mean, you got the sense that here we go. Everybody's like, what are you doing, Raiders? And then the younger brother of George Floyd supports Mark Davis and the Raiders. Mark Davis takes accountability for it, does not delete the tweet, although so many people in those first hours had asked.
Absolutely.
It's an interesting. And then you take the LeBron James situation where he tweets and deletes a tweet. It's almost like you do have to pause sometimes before reacting, but it does showcase some of the emotions involved as well, Austin. Do you think Mark Davis, the Raiders, were they okay with what they did? LeBron James, the delete of the tweet. How do you feel about that?
So it shows you a couple things. Yes, it shows you that you need to pause sometimes and think on social media, without a doubt. But it also shows what the landscape of social media is. And essentially what it is, it's like you're back in high school again. And everyone's got their cliques. No one's got an open mind, and everyone's staying within their clique, let's just say. The case of the Las Vegas Raiders tweeting, I can breathe. I understand that the brother said that. George Floyd's brother did say that. Okay, great. But that wasn't clarified from the Raiders. Now, is it our job as people on Twitter or people on Instagram to do our research and say where that quote came from? I don't have the answer for you there. But I think that sometimes we fall into a trap, and this isn't really me speaking. I'm talking like the huge influencers like the Las Vegas Raiders. I think we fall into a trap sometimes when we take instances in history that are monumental and we try to make them our own. It would have been one thing if Mark Davis and the Raiders would have retweeted that quote that George Floyd's brother said. right? Like maybe like retweet that quote and say, "We stand with you," or whatever. Like it's a step in the right direction. That would have made a lot more difference, I think, than having your social media department say, "Okay, let's put our Raiders colors on this. Let's make this the Las Vegas thing." And let's say I can breathe, and then don't really have any kind of, explanation of why you said it. That was the Raiders, in my opinion, trying to put their mark on history and trying to get people talking about it. That's not what this is about. I understand, and you know what? I'm probably guilty of this too sometimes. I understand that all of us, we have a selfish nature to us, okay? I'm not naive to that. If you're on social media, there is some kind of selfish nature to you. But in this circumstance, with what transpired, you have to see the bigger picture. It's not about the Oakland Raiders setting a precedent, okay? It's about celebrating something that I'm surprised even we had to celebrate, because to me it was obvious, number one, but it's about, moving on and moving in the right direction. From LeBron James' side, I've been in those shoes. Okay, I haven't been in those shoes lately from LeBron James' side. It's an emotional time. I get it. And like I said, there's still a lot more that needs to be done, that needs to be accomplished. I think there's still a lot of people that need to be held accountable out there. And regardless if you're a grown man or if you're somebody in high school, if you're a college athlete, like sometimes we let our emotions get the best of us. Now, did LeBron James have the best intentions in mind? Absolutely, without a doubt. And he's using his platform, I wholeheartedly believe, to make the landscape better. And I support that in LeBron James. But once again, sometimes we got to take look at the bigger picture and what we can do on the bigger picture and say, okay, it can't be about this one thing. It can't be about me. It can't be about you. It has to be about the greater good. And I think if we had that conversation with ourselves, it's something as serious as racial injustice, I think it would be a lot better place on Twitter and social media. But once again, that's all just me being sunshine and rainbowy, because let's be honest, we know how social media operates. It's the Wild West out there.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of it is it's kind of this odd way of studying, social media, marketing, reactionary things. I mean, these are the kind of things that quite honestly do get studied like 10, 20, 30 years down the road. I mean, was that the right way to react, like you just brought up with the Raiders? Could they have quote tweeted George Floyd's brother and what he said to make it more, put it in context, better? But when it started to be the cancel culture until you heard from George Floyd's younger brother, and then now it's like, substantiated. Okay, we get where they were coming from. There were no ill intentions by the Raiders. I think everybody knows that. But we also want to go, especially on social media sometimes, jump to, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they did this.
I think, for sure. I think the biggest question that these organizations like the Raiders and LeBron James has to ask, is this going to benefit me more? Is it going to benefit the greater good more?
Yeah. Make me feel better or the greater good.
I think if the Raiders looked at themselves in the mirror, and whether it was Davis, whoever was in charge of putting that, I think it was Davis. If you have that honest conversation with yourself, you would answer that wholeheartedly and say, this makes me, this is better for me than it is for the greater good. Yeah. I think with LeBron James, you can make an argument and say it was intended for the greater good, but once again, it can kind of come back to him a little bit.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. We are live at Moe's in St. Augustine. Brett Martin, Austin Lane, Shock Your Mock coming up. By the way, Dana White's going to join us now at 4:30. They got a press conference going on, so Dana White's still on the show here on ESPN 690 coming up. But first, Shock Your Mock when we come back at 4.
Ever finally get around to trying something and it's so much better than you expected, where you're mentally kicking yourself for not doing it sooner or wondering where it's been your whole life? That's how Griffin customers feel about their Florida-rated AC. They even tell me,
we're never going back to regular AC.
And it's the same for our Florida-rated water heaters, too. It's so much better, our customers wonder why no one told them about it before. Well, we fix what others can't. Tired of having to run a shower or faucet for 3 minutes before you actually get hot water? We can fix that.
Nice.
Tired of Jacksonville's swampy hard water hurting your appliances and hair? We can fix it.
Naturally.
Tired of a tank water heater going bad every 5 to 8 years or running out of hot water?
Yep.
Griffin can fix that big time.
Oh, yeah. I never knew I could have hot water as soon as I turn on the tap.
And my hair could be so much healthier. And my appliances can last longer.
Well, you can, but only if you call
GriffinService.com.
1430-261, 1250-697.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the South Side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. Yeah, they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters Vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the South Side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, April is Financial Literacy Month. Did you know the number one thing that wrecks your credit is missed payments? Whether it's a credit card, car loan, or even JEA, missing just one payment dings your credit score for years. If you're struggling, reach out to your creditors before you miss a payment, not after. Most will work with you. This is brought to you by 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get more great financial tips at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Ma'am, why are you getting the vaccine?
Why am I getting the vaccine? So that I can go back to church.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create vax904.com. Visit vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
The Mavericks. Playing time limited to the 15-minute range for the first 2 games he plays. Davis missed the last 9 weeks with a calf strain and tendinosis in his right leg. Said he feels 100% now. LA hoping that his return will help its struggling defense, points out ESPN NBA analyst Jordan Schultz.
I want to see Davis move fluidly and relatively pain-free. I mean, the Lakers defensively have really struggled, Max. They've been plummeting. Number 1 in offense, but number 20 in defense. And I want to see Davis really, accept the challenge of I'm back and I need to be, reckoned with, because he's missed a lot of time.
Jordan Schultz on the Max Kellerman Show. LA is 5th in the West. The Mavs are 7th. They're in play-in tournament range. Athletes who make political or social justice protests at the Tokyo Olympics were promised legal support today by a global union and activist group in Germany. This a day after the IOC confirmed its long-standing ban of demonstrations or political propaganda on the field.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome back. We are live at Moe's down in St. Augustine. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jack studios. Dana White scheduled to join us within the hour. We pushed it back a little bit because of a news conference going on for UFC 261 in Jacksonville Saturday night. So Dana White still scheduled to join us, but looking like around 4:30. So we're going to bump Austin Lane, shock your mock, for a second time. Now, does this make you feel a little bit better? I mean, we love Daniel Jeremiah, but this is for Dana White. I mean, is this okay that you're getting bumped to 4 o'clock?
You know, because I'm trying to go on ESPN, like I'm going on like the UFC website right now, and I'm trying to see what press conference Dana White had to give up on her show to do. Not seeing any press conferences. So then immediately I allude to the fact of, okay, Brent didn't check his emails again. We're not on the same page, and this is somehow your fault. Now, I might be making it up. I might be just a little upset because I got bumped once again. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little less bummed than when I was last time because it was Daniel Jeremiah, and this is Dana White, who has, like, I don't know, a couple million Twitter followers, so I'm okay with it. And plus, obviously, he's hopefully my future boss one day. So once again, can't say it enough. I'm okay with it, okay? So, and tell you the truth, I just found the link to this website for the UFC press conference. Hasn't even started yet. I'm sure he's not going to be able to call us till 5:30, so we might get rebooked again, but that's okay.
Tell him the show's over at 6.
Okay, well, the point of the fact of the matter is, Brent, is I'm going to survive, I'm going to live on, and I can't wait to break down I'm not going to lie. I can wait to break down this mock because not the best one I've seen, let's just say.
Wow. Do have an update. The Shock Your Mock T-shirts hit the post office today.
Boom.
Steph, thank you so much for helping out. She got them over there.
See, now I feel bad about it because now we're bringing your wife on board for this thing.
No, this is I did all the I did all the addressing. I got all the
okay.
I had to do this too. My customer service skills are just okay because I had to so I reach out to everybody that on direct message. We still don't have the Instagram person yet. Kuz will help me with that when he gets back.
Sure.
There's and then there's yesterday's I don't think I could find. I couldn't find Max Miller on Twitter.
Yeah, he probably deleted Twitter after that evisceration that I gave him. Or you didn't put the 3 because he has a 3 in his name. Okay.
I did put the 3, and so I saw Max Miller, but he had like no tweets. So how did he even get the thing to you?
No, he probably blocked you.
Okay, so I need a little help with that one.
Well,
but anyway, I asked the
have better opinions and better takes, and maybe you won't get blocked.
I asked all these people. I said, hey, I need your shirt size and your address.
Come on.
Well, then, so I started doing the addresses, and I'm like, okay, I have all these Twitter names. I don't have their names.
It ain't like you can put their Twitter names on the post. Yeah, no.
So now I'm like, I've done everything but asked for their social security number.
Sure.
And did the envelopes. And I'm telling you, I got the envelopes. Wait till these folks get them. I hope they get them in okay.
Yep.
But I stuffed these shirts in the envelope.
I like it.
The envelope was a little small.
Well, and you know what? And here's the genius of this, and this was the plan all along, everybody. This was a Brett Martineau. This was his plan. We're going to get your credit card information. We're going to get your blood type. We're going to get your social security information. And then we're going to have a secure, like a LifeLock or whatever, like a identity theft protection kind of endorsement, and we're going to say, I guess these people should have had LifeLock, and then boom, watch the money start coming in because we are prime examples of LifeLock.
That's fantastic. This is unofficial research. We told you we got roll calls unbelievable for this thing. Of the 20 that went out today.
Come on.
So they went out. But anyway, Steph was very nice. She said, hey, I'm going to go out. I'm going out. You want me to take it and do it? I said, it's not going to be like an easy drop-off. But she said, yeah, I'll do it. So she did it for me.
Awesome, Steph. Thank you very much.
And how about this? One other reveal. I thought it would be expensive to send to John Hopkins over there in the UK.
Yep.
And, I mean, it was more than normal.
Sure.
But guess how much it is to send to the UK? Now, listen, there's an address for the UK. Like, I hope John gave me the right address because I have no idea how anybody gets mail over there.
Well, I mean, do they even use, like, numbers in their address or is it like emojis? Like, I don't know what the UK does over there.
Oh, no, it's like they use numbers, letters. There's like 3 different things that look like cities.
Yeah.
There's no zip code type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it is very confusing.
Yeah.
It's England, UK. I was like, I thought you were all the same thing. England and the UK.
And I'm sure there's probably like 5. And I'm sure there's probably like 5 Paul McCartney drives. So like, which Paul McCartney drive is it, and all that stuff. Yeah.
I almost threw out of you people right there.
There you go. Careful, Careful.
But anyway, how much? Guess real quick.
Express, or are we talking standard?
Nah, I said standard.
Standard.
Sorry. That means it might get to
25-day shipping.
I was going to say, might get to England by Christmas.
It's going to be a great stocking stuffer for anybody out there. So get your mocks in right now. I'm going to say it was, just a T-shirt, small parcel. I'm going to say it was $15.
Wow, you are right on the money.
Boom.
I thought it was going to be more. It's $16 and something.
You
I was
better
like, God,
believe it.
that's nothing. And by the way, I'll say the story again. John was very nice when I asked him for his information. He's like, hey, I'm in England.
Yeah.
You don't have to send me a shirt.
Yep.
I was like, nah, man, if you're listening in England, I'm going to send you a shirt.
If you're a Trevor Lawrence fan, you're getting a T-shirt. So thanks for doing that, Brent.
Ironically, it was Trevor Lawrence dollars to send it over to England.
That's a good point. That's what we call fate right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we call fate.
All right. Hey, Jags fans, you can win a chance to meet the pick courtesy of TIAA Bank. Just visit TIAABank.com/meetthepick to register each day through draft night. No purchase required to enter or win. For eligibility and other details, see the official rules at TIAABank.com/meetthepick. How cool would it be to meet Trevor Lawrence? That's what this contest is. So go check it out at TIAABank.com/meetthepick. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. I'm down here in St. Augustine at the Moe's. Welcome to Moe's. How about a little welcome to Shock Your Mock early on a Thursday?
He is none other than the Shock Master!
Gonna shock yo mock! We're gonna shock yo mock!
Brutality, don't you think?
Shocking. Gonna shock yo mock! We're gonna shock yo mock!
Shocking upset.
I feel shocked. Shock yo mock! We're gonna shock yo mock!
I am shocked. I am shocked. That's what I mean. I am.
Here we go. It is Shock Your Mock time, and you don't like this one. Uh-oh.
Do we even need a Shock Your Mock segment today?
Oh, because you should go UFC style.
I don't
knock
have
it out.
You know what, Brent? The whole plan was to go Casey Kasem, okay? But to go Casey Kasem, you got to be a little more calm, be a little more cool and collected. Now there is a video of there's an audio video out there on YouTube of Casey Kasem having a little freak out, and it's entertaining. I recommend anybody goes to Casey Kasem swearing. It's a good one, everybody. But after Shock Your Mock, obviously, and after the Dana White interview, obviously, and maybe just after our show in general. But I shouldn't have to break this mock draft down. We're going to put it up here momentarily once Casey gives me the thumbs up. This is, and keep in mind who you're dealing with here, everybody. I'm the shock master, okay? And I've shocked a lot of mock drafts in my time. This isn't my first rodeo. Yeah, I'm pretty calm right now, but inside there's a fire brewing, everybody. And I'm hanging for scraps. I know the FCC's listening right now, just waiting for one little mix-up to shut me down and shut this show down and shut Shock Your Mock down. But I'm better than that. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to prevail, hopefully. Casey, get that dump button ready. We have a bunch of... Okay, let's just get into it. Trevor Lawrence, congratulations. Okay, A+, obviously, we're excited, right? Month 3, it seems like now, of Trevor Lawrence talking. I'm not sick of it yet, I don't know if it's the hair. I don't know if it's the whole toaster story, but there's a lot to like with Trevor Lawrence. I'm excited. With that being said, sir, and once again, with me being as calm as possible, you're not getting a T-shirt. Yes, you said Trevor Lawrence's name. Yes, usually I'm a man of my word, but today... you are not getting a T-shirt. And by the way, let me go and give this guy his just due real quick. This guy is called Zerk the Jerk, okay? And the is THA. So Zerk the Jerk, and it's at, and you know what? I'm not even going to say the name because I'm not going to give him the gratification of saying his Twitter handle because I want people to unfollow him as opposed to follow him. So he gets no Twitter love today. I told you his name. Now let's move on a little bit. We have a trade alert, okay? And don't worry, Casey, there's no button for a trade alert, nor should there be a trade alert. When we're talking about trading, pick 25, pick 106, and pick 145. I see the trade, I'm like, okay. Did Kyle Pitts maybe fall? Did Penei Sewell? We've been talking about it, Brent, a little bit. Do I dare say, did Devontae Smith fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 20? And this guy's going to risk it for the biscuit, and he's going to move up and make waves in Urban Meyer's first draft? Nope. He goes with the ugly girl at the bar, the unattractive girl at the bar, and takes Rashawn Slater, tackle, Northwestern. Now, but of course, Pro Football Focus gives us an A+. Okay. Now, once again, it says it's powered by AWS, but everybody, we're hip to the game now. We're smarter than that. AWS isn't going to co-sign trading some picks away for Rashawn Slater at number 20. Is Rashawn Slater going to be a good tackle? Yeah, he very well might be. Plays with kind of like that intensity, kind of that throwback type of tackle, has played both tackle and guard before. Some NFL teams think that his arms are a little too stubby, so he's going to play guard. Not even lying, that was an exact phrase that I took from NFL.com. Stubby.
Is that a new one in the draft process?
Stubby, okay. He could be a little stubby, but he can make it work. Whatever the case, one of the key words, Brent, that we've heard Urban Meyer say is what? Value. Okay. Value. And once again, I'll say this guy's name, Zerk the Jerk. Go ahead and tell me, where in the hell is the value if you take a tackle at number 20 and he's probably not going to start right away? And let's assume maybe this guy is an all-pro and he does start. So then what do you do with Cam Robinson? Just going to pay him $12 to $13 million sitting on the bench? And don't forget, it's the non-sexy pick of tackle. I've said what I need to say. Let's hopefully move on and hopefully it gets better.
First mention of HE double hockey sticks here on Shock Your Mock.
It's only going to go downhill from here. All right. Once again, I'm towing the line right now, let's just say, and I might pull a Nancy Kerrigan and just my leg might give out and I might fall right over that line. Okay? And I'll start screaming, why, when I get fired and I'm in the parking lot asking for my job back. But let's move on. Let's prevail. Pick number 37. And once again, pick number 37, when we say 37, what do we think of? Impact players right away. Well, hopefully, we went tackle for the second pick. One would think that we address some concerns on the defense, or maybe we give Trevor Lawrence a shiny new toy. But what do we give Trevor Lawrence? We give him Elijah Vera Tucker. Tackle. And my voice is tackle. USC. Is this some kind of sick joke?
There's nothing better than a 6'6", 245-pound voice crack.
I'm going to cry. All right? I might cry at this one. And Casey, don't worry, man. No buttons yet. No buttons to push. Maybe push that button where it's like, wow, wow, wow. You got that one? Yeah, you don't got that one. We don't have that button here. So Elijah Vera Tucker, I don't know. Once again, we talk about value. Is he going to come in and be a contributor right away? Probably not. You can put him on the right side or left side. Okay. But why are we going back-to-back offensive linemen? We literally have our pick at anybody in the bar. And we take the two trolls sitting in the corner and said, hey, what's up, ladies? How you doing today? Because I have zero self-confidence. That's where we're at right now. Zerka the Jerk. And I had my Casey Kasem voice ready to go. I practiced so hard last night. Brent was excited to see it. And then you lay this crap on me. Once again, for the second time, for the FCC out there, what in the hell are we doing here at pick 37? But let's move on, even though it's so hard to do.
This looks like a 2022 draft.
This is absolutely insane. This is unworldly. Okay, pick 42. We got Rondale Moore. Once again, trade because we're trade crazy here. Pick 45, pick 170. We trade up and get Rondale Moore. And, of course, Pro Football Focus gives this a C+, just to tick me off, just to make me upset. Rondale Moore at 42, sure. Why not, man? But I'm going to be honest. I really don't care at this point. Okay? Because we're going to pick 65 right now. Have we hit a draft need alert yet? Have we even come close? Have we even scratched the surface of swiping right on a draft need alert? Nope. Hanging out with the sewer trolls at the beach. Let's see what we got next. Pick 65, we got Richie Grant, safety, UCF. This is a draft need alert. It's a draft need alert.
Let's make sure Casey doesn't work for 911. That response time wasn't so good.
But you know what? I think Casey is just as offended as I am right now with this mock draft. And Casey, I appreciate you holding strong with me, man, for emotional support. We're going to have a chit-chat about this when the show is done. Richie Grant, safety, UCF. Okay, congratulations. That's a draft need alert, whatever. Pick number 70, Dayo Odi Yingablo. And, you know, butchered it, all right? Absolutely butchered that name. But once again, do I really care? No, I really don't, because this mock draft is living rent-free right now in my headspace. Edge Vanderbilt. Sure, it's a draft need alert. Casey, don't hit the button, though, okay, because the name's hard to pronounce, and he's from Vanderbilt. I watched a couple Vanderbilt games last year because they had that female kicker. Was it Sarah Tucker? What's her name?
I think it was Sarah Fuller.
Way off. With all due apologies to Sarah Tucker, I'm not sure who you are, but Sarah Fuller. Yeah, so I watched a couple Vanderbilt games last year. I'll be honest. Guy didn't really jump out to me, so whatever, they'll pick 70, bring him on the team, why not, let's go. I'm sure he's a great student nonetheless. Pick 130, Yaman Noodles, Jamin Davis, linebacker Kentucky. We talked about him a little bit. He's not going pick 130, so let's get off that right now. And then Pro Football Focus gives it a C+ just to make me upset. Like that wouldn't be great value at pick 130. So yeah, I'm super upset with Zerk the Jerk. I'm even more upset with Pro Football Focus. I'm upset with this entire segment just because it has gone off the rails.
Much better, Casey.
And then you drafted Tony Pollins, and by the way, everybody reserve your Tony Pollins jerseys now from Virginia, because apparently this guy's going to come in and be the starting tight end for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Because we didn't address the tight end, you didn't address the interior defensive line, no Casey Kasem voice today for anybody, even though my mom was looking forward to me doing it today, but I couldn't do it, because how can I keep a sane mind and keep Casey under wraps when I have to yell because you took 2 tackles back to back, and then you took a tight end at 249, and that's it? No T-shirt, all right? I'm making a precedent. Yes, you took Trevor Lawrence. Congratulations. Who won? But you're not getting a T-shirt. This is awful. This is horrible. This show might be getting shut down for my a little excessive swearing. But regardless of that, congratulations, Zerk the Jerk. Worst mock draft of the year. And guess what? No one's going to beat it. The only way someone's going to beat it, and by the way, if you want to be a smart ass and you want to try to beat this one, everybody, because you want to make me upset, go ahead and put Grant Delpit. Go ahead and put copy and paste Grant Delpit 1 through 249, okay? And then you might beat Zerk the Jerk. But if you don't, this is the worst mock draft of the year. So congratulations, Zerk the Jerk. No T-shirt, but give yourself a pat on the back because your mock draft is absolutely hot garbage.
Yeah, thank you for saving me some mailing, although I really would like to address the T-shirt to him as Zerk the Jerk. That'd be a great top line for the postal office.
I think we're getting trolled there. Oh, and by the way, and here's the best part about it, and here's why we're not getting trolled, because he sent me a second mock draft and said wasn't sure if trades were allowed. So here's the no trade mock. Like that justifies it. Like that makes it okay to take 2 tackles back to back. So, Brent, as fast as possible, say your line. Casey, as fast as possible, get this mock draft off my screen, and let's move on with our lives.
Very demanding. Most extensive language Austin's ever used on the show, which made it the most exciting Shock Your Mock ever. But Zerk the Jerk, your mock has been shocked in a big-time way.
And half on not rocking a T-shirt. Everyone's getting a T-shirt except you now. Hope you feel special. And I'm serious. I'm putting an embargo. I'm putting an ultimatum on this right now. If you reach out to this guy and send him a T-shirt, I'm off the show. Tell you that right now. Tell you that right now. So you better start collecting resumes, because if you want to be the nice guy and send this guy a T-shirt, then you better start going to LinkedIn or careerbuilder.com. Endorsement opportunity, everybody. careerbuilder.com or ZipRecruiter. Hey, what's up, ZipRecruiter? You're on every single podcast. Get on our podcast for once. And I'm done. Sorry.
Seems like you've threatened just about everybody.
Yeah.
This might be a great segue right into Dana White here in a couple of minutes.
My bad.
All good. Hey, coming up in a little bit, I do want to ask about the biggest adjustment for Trevor Lawrence in the NFL. There was an actual mock draft trade situation that Bill Barnwell put out there, which raised an interesting thought in my mind. So he does it every year. It's a fascinating exercise, even though it's obviously not realistic. But it's the thought that entered my mind about it. So we'll have that. Plus, Dana White scheduled to join us in the next half hour. UFC 261 happening. We're live at Moe's. Welcome to Moe's down here in St. Augustine. Come on down. Say hello until 6 o'clock. We'll be back on Action Sports Jax on ESPN690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunny today, a high of 69. Cool tonight, we drop into the upper 40s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss the buy one, get one free on wedding bands through this Sunday.
Don't pay, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey folks, living in Florida, we don't really worry about the seasons except for one, hurricane season. And since your home is your most important asset, protecting your home with Rhino Shield against harsh Florida weather is good for your house and it's good for your budget. As the saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to your house, those cracks in the walls will cost you thousands if not repaired. Rhino Shield waterproofs your home with a coating that's 13 times thicker than box store paint. It reflects 97% of harmful UV rays, has a Class A fire rating, is salt air corrosive resistant, contains the highest quality ceramics, and of course it comes in any color. Plus, with our 25-year warranty, you get a non-prorated 100% transferable warranty that guarantees against chipping, cracking, and peeling. So call 904-519-5055 or visit rhinoshieldjax.com and protect your house and your budget.
So you'll never have to pain again. Call Rhino Shield today.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Ever wonder why so many people are opening banking accounts at Community First?
Because it's a smart way to move your money around.
Or do anything else you want with it.
And at Community First, you don't have to pretend to be anybody special.
Just be yourself.
You can add a Community First banking account at any branch or on your phone, tablet, or desktop at justbeyourself.com. Community First. Just be yourself.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Ma'am, why are you getting the vaccine?
I'm getting the vaccine so that I can travel and be safe.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create vax904.com. Visit vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
Find just what you're looking for at Arlington Toyota. With over 700 new Toyotas available, Arlington has the model you want, with the features you want, at the price you want. And with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's worry-free 30-day exchange policy and a lifetime powertrain warranty with unlimited time and unlimited miles. Shop arlingtontoyota.com or in person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vita De Louis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vita De Louis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vita De Louis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vita De Louis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLouis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop. Jags fans, here's your opportunity to get in on the draft day action. Enter the TIAA Bank Meet the Pick sweepstakes today for your chance to win a special meet and greet experience with the Jaguars draft pick. Learn more at TIAABank.com/meetthepick. No purchase required to enter or win and will not increase your chances of winning. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C., 18 years and older. Entry period from March 29, 2021 through April 29, 2021. To enter and for official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit TIAABank.com/meetthepick. Sponsor and administrator, TIAA Bank, a division of TIAA FSB.
At Movember, we're best known for the mustache. Well, here's the thing. Men's health deserves support year-round.
which is why we're more than a month, more than mustaches. All year round, we're doing more. We're delivering more research, more treatments, doing more to help men live happier, healthier, longer lives. But we need your support, because the more we can do, the more fathers, brothers, partners, sons we can protect. Movember, more than a month. Give monthly at Movember.com.
Spring makes all things new, and the Home Depot makes all spring things possible. Start a garden, refinish a deck. Use our mobile app to put over 2 million products in the palm of your hand. Some ready for pickup in as little as 2 hours. Oh, and if you don't have the tools you need, our tool rental department does. Download our mobile app to get started. Bring on spring with innovative help from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you could pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Sir, why are you getting the vaccine?
Why am I getting the vaccine? Because I would like to hug my grandchildren.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create Vax904.com. Visit Vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
The Wendy's restaurant in your area has issued a major bag alert.
Major bag alert.
The bacon double stack is back in the biggie bag with fries, nugs, and a drink, all for just $5. The following are to be expected: joy, disbelief, inability to think about anything else. This deal is effective immediately, and it's only at Wendy's.
Major bag alert. Bag alert. Major
Biggie bag includes 4-piece nuggets, small fry, and small drink. U.S. price and participation may vary.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, we appreciate it. But your boss says you're working from home this week, so take us with you. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Austin Lane.
The Rock, out of nowhere, buys the XFL during a pandemic, mind you, goes half in with his ex-wife. So now you're going to business with your ex-wife.
Brent Martineau.
I don't know if that's on the business advice list.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. You know, a lot going on in Jacksonville. We're a week away from the draft. Obviously, the epicenter of the draft is in Cleveland, but get the number one pick, baby. We're on the clock here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Better take all 10 minutes.
Do we know, are there going to be special presenters, Brent?
It's a good question, man. With
with
COVID and everything else, I'm not sure if they're doing that.
Yeah.
That has been a thing, and why couldn't you do it virtually, potentially?
That's a good point.
So maybe there's a trick up NFL sleeve when it comes to that.
Make your predictions right now. Who's going to be the Jaguar special presenter?
Let's go over who's done it. Like
Meester.
Baselli, Meester, Fred Taylor,
Scobie.
Mark Brunell, Scobie.
You think Puzz does it?
Oh, Puzz would be good.
Yeah,
now,
but he's a coach at New York, though.
Yeah, I doubt
Nope, so get him out. Sorry, Puzz.
I wonder if they go to the fan. How about this? Here you go. I got it. They'll go and do. This is my prediction.
Okay.
And I don't know this.
Okay.
But they will do healthcare workers.
Oh yeah.
To introduce the pick, which would be pretty cool.
No, that's awesome for sure.
Pretty cool moment. You know, like they gave Super Bowl tickets to healthcare workers, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL did that,
and
some local folks got to go. But I think it'd be kind of neat to introduce the pick, right?
Well, especially, they should just have Florida healthcare workers, man, because it's a Wild West over here when it comes to, all that stuff. we're pretty easy going over here.
Well,
so I'm sure they've been extra busy.
Speaking of part of the busy week here in Jacksonville is UFC 261. Press conference going on right now.
Yeah,
Saturday night, downtown. Yeah, let me know when the press conference ends so that we know when Dana White's coming on.
Well, and spoiler alert, these things usually go pretty long, so it could be a little while.
Well, we know how that works.
Yeah.
But I've been told Dana White's going to join us. So we hopefully will have that in a moment. I do want to get to this story. Did you play with Geno Hayes?
I did. I did in
Chicago.
Chicago.
Sad story, man. I saw that story come out like late last night. Maybe it was early this morning when I saw it. But, he's in hospice care at his parents' home in Georgia with liver disease at 33 years old.
Yeah.
I know you can't keep in touch with everybody, but
no.
Does that stun you as much as it stuns me?
Yeah, it absolutely stuns me. So actually I didn't play with him in Jacksonville. Oh, I take that back. He was here in the springtime. Okay. So, I spent some time with him when Gus Bradley was here because I believe it was Coach Bob Babich, if I'm not mistaken, was the defensive coordinator. So he brought him over. But I spent time with him in Chicago and kind of played along next to him. I don't know, man. Like I know of him. We obviously had conversations in the locker room in Chicago. Didn't really get to interact with him too much in Jacksonville. But this is a guy who's essentially my age, and it's scary when you see things like that. And obviously we're sending him the best energy that we have. But if you look a little more into this and what's kind of transpiring right now with Hayes, it appears that, he was sick and then he didn't really want to ask anybody for help. It seemed like he didn't want to get any attention from it because
he didn't want to burden anybody.
Yeah, he didn't want to burden anybody, I think was the exact quote. Yeah, correct. And man, it's a crazy ordeal.
So here's the deal. Jenna Lane, our friend from Tampa, did a story and talked to who obviously played for the Bucs and played for Florida State. And a little bit of the timeline says Hayes told ESPN before entering the hospital last month that he had been placed on a waiting list for a transplant at the Mayo Clinic and Northwestern Medicine in December after being hospitalized over 20 times in the past year. He says, the first diagnosis they gave me was alcoholic cirrhosis. But when we dug in deeper, it became just chronic liver disease because I don't drink like that. If I did drink, it was just like wine or something like that. But my body is made different, and that's what my doctor said. Everybody's made different. He said, I went from 220 pounds to 150 pounds. That was when I was first diagnosed. So that's kind of the timeline and how it all happened. To reference what you just said, played for the Bucs from 2008 to 2011, Chicago in 2012, and the Jaguars from 13 to 14.
Yeah, but I think
there's some overlap for you.
Did he have a second stint though in Chicago? I don't think he made the team per se.
He might have.
I could have. Okay. Yeah, but
it certainly could have.
Yeah.
So anyway, a lot of with Geno Hayes that I remember, man, a super guy, very cordial and accommodating. In terms of what we do, didn't have just to be honest, the deeper relationship than that with him. Some of the players you get to know, we do some of the shows with folks. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily like that, but very accommodating. And so we're thinking about him. That's a tough ordeal. Obviously has been now for a couple of years for him, but that was very surprising news to hear today and very unfortunate news. So prayers up for Geno Hayes, and I think he's getting that and a lot of love from all over the NFL and everyone, of course, that he knows. As we wait for Dana White potentially here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 this half hour, it could come a little bit later based on their news conference.
Yep.
I wanted to – Bill Barnwell does this mock draft of trades. And the Jags – it was funny because something we overlooked a little bit yesterday is Trent Baalke was asked about has he had calls for the pick.
Yeah,
and he basically is like – yeah, we're hanging on to it, yep. Which is interesting because you do. Like, I never really thought about that as much through this process. We knew the Jags needed a quarterback. We know they're going number one. Heck, Shad Khan told us in January we're going quarterback. Urban Meyer and others have essentially said, yeah, we're going Trevor Lawrence. So it never even really crossed my mind about a trade scenario and what you would have to give up for it. But Barnwell does this, and he presents he's like, well, we got to do it because this is what we're doing in this mock draft. Everybody's making a trade. Mm-hmm. And the trade is actually interesting. And it brought up I'm not saying do it, okay? Don't get me wrong here. But he says Herbert and Derwin James for the right to take Trevor Lawrence? I ask you this question.
Ooh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's take Trevor Lawrence out of the equation for a moment.
Okay.
Let's say the Jags don't have the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
But they go, I don't know, maybe they got the 8th pick, and they go put a barrel of picks together for Justin Herbert, and they get him. Like, Chargers would never do it, but whatever. How big are you on Herbert? And how excited would you be if Herbert, again, minus Trevor Lawrence here, he's not in the picture, was the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars? How good would you feel about that? Because there is a lot of love around the NFL for Justin Herbert right now.
Well, and as there should be. You know, I think that if you're Jacksonville and you end up drafting him, there'd obviously be some animosity built up when you draft him, maybe even hear some boos. But if he's in half the player that he was in Los Angeles, I think you'd be excited to have Herbert. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a believer. I think he got drafted into the perfect situation. But nevertheless, even regardless of the situation, you still have to perform. You still have to produce. And Justin Herbert has done that.
Well, and here, how about this, Austin? Should the Jags have traded up last year? They were at number 9. Should they have traded up to what? Did he go 6th, I think, overall? Or 7th? To 6th might have been, to the Chargers. That's not a long way to move up. Did the Jags mess up last year by not going to get a guy like Herbert?
No. I mean, did they mess up? Well, and listen, hindsight's 20/20. If you had Justin Herbert last year, yeah, you probably would have won some more games, right? Probably would have been doing a little more celebrating, and I understand that. But a lot of the MO out of Herbert coming out of the draft was we're not quite sure about him, right? Like, Joe Burrow seemed like the sure thing. You seem like you're getting a quality guy, even though it was 1 year of a sample size. Well, I guess it was more than 1 year, but, you know, it was a big year of sample size for Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert chooses to stick around another year, you know, doesn't really make a lot of progress from his previous season. Now people are like, well, is this guy really the real deal or not? Because he was supposed to go number 1 overall that college football year. And then he kind of, you know, stays stagnant. Now, once again, that could be on his teammates. It could be on the lack of wide receivers. A lot of things go into that to make the quarterback shine. And Herbert didn't have that his final year at Oregon. So, no, I'm not going to sit here and nitpick the Jaguars and say, well, you guys, why don't you trade up to get Justin Herbert? Because if I remember correctly, I didn't hear a lot of experts, a lot of, you know, skeptics calling them, hey, they should trade up to get Justin Herbert. Like, you didn't really hear that narrative at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it was completely dismissed. I think I remember the scenarios. Would the Jaguars be interested? Would they even go? Well, it wasn't even would they trade up, Austin. It was like, what if he slips to number 9? Remember that scenario played out.
True.
What if Herbert? And I'm telling you what, man, if Herbert had slipped to number 9, I don't think the Jags would have taken him. I don't.
I think
because they had Gardner Minshew, they were believing in Gardner Minshew, and I don't know how they scouted and looked at Herbert. But I don't think they were going to. Would have been fascinating had the Jaguars had that situation to pick Herbert.
But
and in
listen,
Marone's final year, Marone's must-win year, go get a new quarterback. Caldwell's must-win year, go get a new quarterback. I'm not sure they would have done that, but it just begs the question a little bit in hindsight. How much should they have thought about that? How much should they have done that, looked into it, been ready for that based on how this guy played yet last year?
Well, and you know what? I think if that would have transpired and you pick him with your first pick of the first round, what are we talking about then, though? Like, I can already see what the narrative would have been. Well, you're not going to give Gardner Minshew a chance? Like, didn't he earn the opportunity? Didn't he get thrown into a circumstance that wasn't ideal, that was uncomfortable? And for the most part, didn't he shine? Don't we want to see Gardner Minshew through? Because drafting Justin Herbert number 9, that saw the future of Gardner Minshew coming to an end. Like,
that's true.
You don't draft a guy at number 9 and say, okay, sit behind this former 6th-round pick and just buy your time. That's not how it works. Now, once again, hindsight is 20/20. Maybe they should have did that, right? But at the same time, if they would have did that, then we wouldn't be getting Trevor Lawrence right now, number 1. And number 2, we would always have those doubts and those questions about Gardner Minshew. No, it didn't pan out like we wanted it to. We were all big believers, big supporters of Minshew. I'm still a big supporter and a big believer of Gardner Minshew. But obviously, the sample size showed of, you know, what he brought to the table. And unfortunately, if you're a Jaguars fan, if you're that coach, you're looking for something else.
Well, I think what's interesting, Austin, is let's just say they won 4 games and they were picking like where Carolina's picking.
Yeah.
Like if they were picking where Carolina's picking and maybe there wasn't going to be a quarterback on the board or something like that, or maybe they're picking where Philly's now picking at 12. well, then you'd really go back and criticize the heck out of the Jaguars. Now, you can do that all the time.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting. And anyway, this comes up because Barnwell, in his all-trade mock draft, which he had to make a trade, I mean, really, if there was a trade, the question right here is, would you buy into Justin Herbert because you saw something last year, 33-7, or would you buy into the unknown and the prospect and what could be with Trevor Lawrence? Yeah. And I think, listen, I'm a buy into Trevor Lawrence, no doubt. Like I told you that with Deshaun Watson, even before all this stuff with Deshaun Watson. People raised this question, so I certainly would say the same with Herbert. I think going down the road, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be better than Justin Herbert. Yeah. But it's an interesting thing from a front office perspective to say, I saw him do that in the NFL, 33-7 and Rookie of the Year.
Let's ask this question, Brent. And you're not wrong here, but I do think, and maybe now it's going to be more comparable, but obviously I think Justin Herbert's first year was a lot more ideal, and not to knock the offense right now, but I think Herbert's first year with what he had as weapons and just guys around him was more ideal than Trevor Lawrence has this year. So let me ask you this question then. In the first 3 years of their career, and keep in mind there's going to be a 1 year difference here, but in their first 3 years, who's going to have the better total numbers? Obviously yards, touchdowns, quarterback, all that stuff. Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence.
It's a good one. We've done this before with the rookie year numbers, 33-7.
Sure, but I'm saying extended career a little bit here. Yeah.
Well,
now keep in mind, Herbert lost a couple. Yeah, well, and Justin Herbert lost Hunter Henry. That can mean something, but
here's what I'm going to do here. I tried to stay. I almost was leaning Herbert right away.
Sure.
Because he's got a great head start, man. 33-7 and 4,000 yards?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a head start. What I'm going to buy into more is that Trevor Lawrence is going to be good, but that he's going to grow and adapt in Urban Meyer's system. Yeah. And so as Urban builds this thing up here in Jacksonville, while year one, I'm not sure he will duplicate the numbers of Herbert. I think the opportunity for growth and what could be here in place because of the Jags' capital over the last couple of years, money, even heading into next year, they'll be able to build around him, maybe even better than Herbert has this year and maybe definitely in year three. I'm going to ride with that angle of it. But a lot of it has to do with Urban and the build around him because I would sign up for Trevor Lawrence to have 33-7 and 4,000 yards right now. Yeah. Don't even play the season and take me to January. Okay? Sign me up. That was that good of a year by Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
One other thing about this story, just real quick. He said, as he's looking for people to trade with, right? He ruled out Deshaun Watson because of what's going on. He ruled out Dak Prescott. He said they were looking at 11 quarterbacks on rookie deals that maybe to make this trade. Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones haven't done enough to justify being a significant part of a trade. Joe Burrow coming off serious knee injury, Tua coming off an inconsistent rookie season. You're left with 5 guys: Herbert, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and Kyler Murray. Now, that's not a bad 5 to try to trade for.
No, heck
That's
no.
pretty good when you see it in that context. Herbert, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. That's a nice core of players right there that are young quarterbacks in the NFL.
It's fantastic. Yeah, and that's like we hear those names and we think of the future of the NFL, right? Like right now, yeah, you think of the GOATs, the Tom Bradys, the Aaron Rodgers, but there's this young upstart nucleus of guys that we think are going to be around for a long time, and you just named a bunch of those dudes. So yeah, that's great company to be had.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's get Steven on the line right now. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690. What's happening, man?
Hey, not so much, guys. I wanted to get your opinion on the whole Justin Fields admitting that he's managing epilepsy. I know how it is because I have seizures as well. I don't have epilepsy for some odd reason. Doctor just says short circuit upstairs because he had to dumb it down for me. But, I get where it's coming from because I have to take meds to manage it. But I also know, I've had an incident where I banged my head real hard and then I just had one because, unlike him, which I don't know, I only have him in my sleep. So, but I know where he's coming from, though. But could somebody be worried if he gets hit hard in the head? I mean, we've seen some vicious headshots, and that something like that happened on the field, though.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, so, this is where team medical staffs come into play here, right? And they come up with plans. Now, obviously not having the combine this year, this is a good thing about the combine. Now, I always rag about how, it's mundane and it's so aggressive in terms of getting MRIs on this, getting MRIs on that. But see, it's one thing to hear in an article by NFL.com or whoever it is that, okay, Justin Fields has epilepsy. But what does that really mean? That can mean a lot of things. How many times does this happen a week? Is this like a once in a month thing, once in a year? There's not a lot of information to go off of. Now, obviously,
I will say that he said he takes his medication and he's had no issues with it, essentially, is what he's basically said in recent years.
Okay, I got you. So then that helps out a lot. But, this is where it helps to be at the combine, right? Because, okay, it's one thing if you're doing Zoom interviews or at your pro day and you mention it a little bit to scouts and stuff like that. But these are what the combines are designed for, is that you have these long, intricate conversations with team doctors and you figure out exactly where you're at. They get a baseline. I think not having the combine this year, and once again, I'm not sure how turned off teams would be. Obviously, it's a conversation, all right? And if it's a conversation, that means something. But this is where not having a combine really hurts Justin Fields a lot. Because now, even though I'm sure there's dialogue between Justin Fields and every team, but it's not in person. It's not with the team doctors. It's different.
Yeah, what's interesting to me here, Austin, is I've seen various cases of epilepsy, all right? From my own very minor to a buddy like Jeff Clark, who, derailed his PGA Tour career.
Yeah.
So it's a serious thing, but it's a varying thing as well. And so this doesn't concern me without a lot of information in my hands. I'll be honest with you, from a prospect standpoint, this is going to sound very strange. I know, as I'm trying to say it and make it make some sense. But yesterday's conversation of Devontae Smith weighing in at 166 pounds actually red flags me more than this conversation. I wonder if I've sat with somebody and met with somebody and discussed this a little more, what I just said, if I'd feel that way, if I had more detail. But from the outside looking in, this doesn't concern me that much based on the fact that he hasn't had issues with it. The medication is working, whatever he's doing, whatever he's taking, and it is a treatable thing.
But it doesn't.
And not to say that Devontae Smith can't put on 10 pounds.
Sure,
I understand that. I'm just telling you in the way. Maybe it's just a bad way that I think. I don't know. But again, I've dealt with a little bit of this myself, and so I'm not taking away the serious nature of it. But I would say, I just think when this came out today or late last night, and I saw the Devontae Smith stuff, I was more red flagged by Devontae Smith, believe it or not.
But does it bother you though that Justin Fields is getting ready to go to the elite of the elite and play a very physical game where there is contact to your head and your brain and all that stuff? Like, isn't that a worry there? Isn't that kind of a red flag a little bit? I really don't know. I'm asking.
Well, I'm not saying it's not a red flag at all. I think if I was a family member, I would feel concerned about that, but I would have already been concerned about that as a high school football player and a collegiate football player. So I think they're beyond that stage of it, again, I'll tell you what else. Here's my theory on this real quick. It's like the rats are out in the draft season right now. Why is this out there? Why is this out there a week before? And we talk about this all the time. You hate this part. I get it. But I'm just saying, this stuff, the medicals were done on Devontae Smith 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Or maybe even more, but I think it was 2 weeks ago. It comes out yesterday. This stuff comes out today. Are the medical reports just being released? Are people just finding out about them? Or are these teams that are trying to push this out there and use these kids, these young men, as just pawns in their game of the draft board, which obviously it is. I'm just telling you, it just feels like the rats are out a little bit when this kind of stuff is coming out. We've been talking about Justin Fields for a handful of years.
Yeah. But
and
Brett,
it's coming out a week before the draft?
No, but come on, man. At the same time, this happens every single year. This is nothing new. Like, Juwan Taylor fell because of injury concerns. Like, the reason why the Jacksonville Jaguars got Juwan Taylor when they did was because they were concerned about his shoulder. We heard the same thing with Miles Jack. Is he going to fall because of knee concerns? Like, this is nothing new. This is just how the league works. Whether it's a team doctor that had information that wanted to leak it because maybe they hope Justin Fields drops a little more, like, that's how the landscape works, man. You know, and trust me, I'm not saying it's right because I think it's kind of messed up when you think about it because you're using these guys like pawns in your game, if you will. But that's the way it's always been.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, we talk about it. You're right. We talk about it every year. I just really thought about it the last 48 hours based on these two bits of information. I mean, Devontae Smith kind of came out of nowhere, and we're talking about his weight. But I think the interesting one, Justin Fields here, I mean, this feels like a little bit of the rats are out, you know, because, I mean, again, this guy has been high profile for a while. Like, everybody has dissected everything about Justin Fields, and then this comes out a week before the draft. Hey, let's take a timeout. We're still waiting on Dana White.
So
is the news conference done?
It's just wrapping up right now. Dana White's conducting the face-off. So we're getting face-off number 1 coming up here pretty soon. So we got a little time still.
It's probably a good time to take a break.
Yeah.
That way on the other side, we'll pay some bills here. And on the other side, we can get Dana White in the 5 o'clock hour. Also want to talk Trevor Lawrence, his biggest adjustment to the NFL. Hey, Jags fans, you can win a chance to meet the pick. Maybe it will be Trevor Lawrence, courtesy of TIAA Bank. Just visit TIAABank.com/meetthepick to register each day through draft night. No purchase required to enter or win. For eligibility and other details, see the official rules at TIAABank.com/meetthepick. Football at 5 coming up on ESPN 690. Hey, we're ESPN 690. We're live at Moe's in St. Augustine. Come on down. Say hello.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
Russell Wilson's agent, on the record, gave Shefty 4 teams Russell Wilson would like to play for. That is an important distinction in this conversation.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and watch exclusively on ESPN+.
An essential part of starting and running a business is managing cash flow. This involves not just generating sales revenue, but also securing financing, handling expenses, and ensuring there is working capital in order to reinvest. At SCORE, we offer advice and can direct you to resources to help address these issues. Since 1964, SCORE has helped more than 11 million entrepreneurs and small business owners. We provide free one-on-one mentoring, a library of online information, and a series of timely webinars. Go to jacksonville.score.org to see how we can assist you today.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 7, understand attorney's fees. You've probably heard no fee guarantee, or you only pay if you win. This isn't some kind of special offer. Most injury attorneys are paid this way. We get paid this way. There are limits on what percentage attorneys can charge. Our firm charges you nothing, not even costs, unless you get money. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Offices in Jacksonville and throughout Florida.
At Movember, we're best known for the mustache. Well, here's the thing. Men's health deserves support year-round, which is why we're more than a month, more than mustaches. All year round, we're doing more. We're delivering more research, more treatments, doing more to help men live happier, healthier, longer lives. But we need your support, because the more we can do, the more fathers, brothers, partners, sons we can protect. Movember, more than a month. Give monthly at Movember.com.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000.
515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of our future and getting back to what we love as more and more people get their COVID-19 vaccine. At the American Lung Association, we have science-based public health information you can trust to make a decision about the COVID-19 vaccination for yourself. Visit lung.org or call 1-800-LUNG-USA for more information.
Injuries on the job can cause you to lose control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Money is not coming in and your medical bills are piling up. Our legal team is here to help. We can help you file all your workers' compensation claims to make sure you get the proper benefits you're entitled to. If you've been injured on the job, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Office in Jacksonville.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com. I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now: Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you can pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course, we have everything you need for that big brake job. Right now, you can save 15% when you buy any Duralast brake pads and any 2 Duralast rotors. It's a great way to save while you take on the full job. Oh, and one tip. Go for a nice, easy drive after you finish the job. It'll help break in your new brakes. For more tips, visit AutoZone.com/DIY. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
In his right leg, Lakers power forward Anthony Davis ready to return tonight against the Mavericks. He says he is 100%. According to Coach Frank Vogel, AD will be limited to around 15 minutes for the first 2 games he plays. Restrictions gradually released after there. A couple of things to keep an eye on when it comes to Davis in his first game since February 14th, notes ESPN NBA analyst Monica McNutt.
If I see that up and under and maybe a 3-point shot, I will think that those are good signs. The most important thing is you don't want to see him favoring that leg at all. You want to see if he can get up and down the floor. If he's rebounding, he'll likely have to match up with Willie Cauley-Stein, and if he feels comfortable being physical. But in 15 minutes, we're only going to get a very small sample size.
Monica McNutt. College football teams will be required to attempt 2-point conversions after touchdowns in the second overtime of games rather than the third, according to a change approved today by the NCAA's Playing Rules Oversight Panel. The change is part of an effort to limit plays and end games sooner.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
We've had a bunch of players here, and we started virtual meetings, I believe it was Monday, and our players have been fantastic. I've gone into, now it's mostly by position. I've had the ability actually today to go in and visit with some of them. So it's the world we live in. We're making the most of it. It's not perfect, but you know what? I give our guys a lot of credit because I know it's all voluntary.
That is Urban Meyer. His first team meeting looked like a pretty fun one. You can see more of that on Jaguars.com tonight. The Hunt, the next episode. And that should be pretty good. That little clip they put out, it got me fired up. Got a lot of fans fired up as well. Welcome to Moe's down here in St. Augustine. Brent Martineau here. Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jack studios along with Casey, who's really doing a great job for us this week. Made it to Thursday, Casey. Push through, baby. Got to get all the way to Friday before we think Kuz will return. We kind of forgot about him, but we think he will return.
Yeah.
Next week. I am eating the Home Wrecker Bowl, by the way.
Okay.
Is what I'm having.
Is it spicy? Is it hot? Because it sounds like you're about ready to cry.
No, I still got, I just got a little scratchy throat. I don't know if it's like leftover pollen or whatever.
Okay, I got you.
So I'm like, hey, get a deeper breath of air here.
No,
you talk for a second and I'll cough.
All right, no, you're all good. You know, as Brent gathers his thoughts here and gathers his emotions, pollen is a real thing. And the fact that we haven't had some kind of, I don't know, like an antihistamine endorsement already for Brent Martineau, it's an absolute sham. It's one of the biggest blunders, I think, right now in sports radio, the fact that we can't get any kind of endorsement for your allergies. I mean, your allergies sell themselves. Just listen to you 1 second, and we can hear, hey, you need something, man. So Zyrtec. I don't even know any other brands. I don't have allergies. I'm okay. I'm an athlete, so I'm not sure what else there is, man, but we need something, Brent, because we can't do another year with this, Brent. We just can't do it.
You can be an athlete. I mean, listen, Steve Elkington was a golfer who was allergic to grass.
I said athletes, though, huh? and you said PGA Tour members when I said athletes, so you see how that works.
Hey, by the way, Moe's is serving breakfast now. It's right in front of me, actually, 6 a.m. until 10:45. Drive-through only at this location in St. Augustine. Maybe more sooner than later, but they're serving breakfast. And we've had the breakfast burritos. They dropped us off some breakfast burritos a couple months ago at the station. And also, these guys have been really good to us here in Jacksonville, the Moe's folks. They're really good folks. Brad and Patrick and everybody else supporting our Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 over the years. So if you played at our Dream 18 golf tournament, you've had the breakfast burritos. They've been part of the tournament, and you can come down and get them 6 a.m. until 10:45. St. Augustine location only, though, for now at the drive-thru. Dana White scheduled to join us in just a few moments, so we will have that. Before we get to Dana White, I want to get this topic in. Austin?
Yes.
What's the biggest adjustment for Trevor Lawrence going to the NFL?
Whew.
We haven't really talked about that. Never asked that question yet, I don't think.
No,
Everybody, a lot of times when you ask these kind of questions, right, going to the college, it's speed of the game. Well, I think the elite levels, the speed of the game is not as big of a jump as people will say.
Yeah.
I hear less and less about that. Remember when Leonard Fournette kind of took some heat because he's like, this will be an easy jump to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in fairness, his rookie year was relatively simple for him. He did pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gave him any backlash after the fact on that.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like the speed of the game was a problem for Leonard. I don't think the speed of the game is going to be that different or that big of a challenge for Trevor Lawrence. It could be, but I don't think I would pick that. What would you say could be the biggest hurdle as he adjusts to the NFL?
So, obviously with the running back position, like you mentioned with Fournette, I mean, and I'm not trying to take anything away from running backs per se, but they got it pretty easy, right? Like, yeah, here's the hole. You hit the hole, you recognize the hole, and we'll see you later. Now, sometimes it takes time in terms of your vision and how you read defenses, but I think the transition could be easier for a running back than, let's just say, a quarterback, who is the field general, the most important position on the field. I can be cliche and say, okay, well, he's got to, the different coverages and the schemes and things like that could throw Trevor Lawrence for a loop. But to be a little more specific, and it's one thing that Trevor Lawrence has had problems with, obviously, is when people blitz him up the middle. And I just think that his time and comfort in the pocket from Trevor Lawrence's skill set is probably going to be the biggest thing that he has to adjust to, right? It's that eternal clock. And ironically, and I don't want to throw a red flag out here, but usually quarterbacks have the most problems with that eternal clock. And the eternal clock sometimes can be the difference between having confidence your rookie year and losing your confidence and never getting that confidence back, right? Like, I think when we talk about Blaine Gabbert a little bit, that I shared a locker room with, that's the thing he had problems with. You have to get the ball out sooner. You have to feel that pressure around you. I think that'll be the biggest thing for Trevor Lawrence going forward.
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's specific as well. Do you think the number one thing I get from players that I ask, rookies, young guys that come into the NFL, the thing that I constantly hear, and you said this too, from foam rollers to the beaches, okay?
Yeah.
And that is taking care of your body as a pro. And there's just this difference in taking care of your body than the way you've done it when you were a kid in high school, when you really could eat Skittles and whatever else and go play, to even college when you're still feeling pretty vibrant and young and all that, but now you're learning a little bit more about it. Just feels like it's another level, taking care of your body. And by the way, there are some folks that think Trevor Lawrence might be a little bit on the thin side, the slender side, if you will, somewhat. I don't want that to be exaggerated. That he could maybe put on a little bit more weight. Is it fair to say his biggest adjustment could be that?
No. Listen, we talk about Kyler Murray all the time. I mean, look at Tom Brady. All right, Tom Brady
Hey, Austin, let's pick this up in just a moment,
okay,
because we have Dana White on the phone, and we want to get him on as quickly as can and get him off as quickly as he can so he can go do what he has to do.
I like talking about Tom Brady too, man. Let's talk about Tom Brady.
Hey, go ahead then, Austin. Take it away.
I love it.
All I was going to say about Tom Brady is he's not going to win any weight room workouts, in the NFL locker room. But he doesn't have to do that. He's the quarterback, right? So I don't care how much a quarterback can bench. I don't care what their physique looks like. At the end of the day, if you're a winner, you're a winner, and you get the job done.
Boom. That is absolutely right.
And there it is.
He's the GOAT.
He certainly is, and still getting after it. Well, the GOAT of the UFC might be you, sir. Dana White with us here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Welcome back to Jacksonville. You just had the news conference. Hopefully that went well. How excited are you guys to have this event on Saturday night in front of a sold-out crowd?
No, I've been waiting for this for a long time, and obviously Florida has been big in leading the charge and opening, not only getting businesses back up and running and tourism, but also sports. So we came here last year when the pandemic started. We proved that we could put on an event safely, and I told these guys, when you open up and we can go full capacity, I'll be back and we'll put on a killer fight that'll blow the doors off this place. We're sold out on Saturday night, and I'm looking very forward to it.
Brett Martineau, former Jags player and current MMA fighter Austin Lane with us, along with Dana White, president of the UFC, here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Let me just follow up, and then I'll hand off to Austin because he's the expert on all of this stuff. How much of that is what you just said, fulfilling kind of the promise that you had when you came back to Jacksonville last year? Wasn't a sold-out arena, but now you go sold-out arena plus this really good card that you guys have Saturday.
Yeah, listen, I knew that we could do this safely and there would be a way to pull it off, but you have to have a partner. You have to have, the government willing to work with you and figure these things out with you. So we had the governor, the mayor, the athletic commission here in Florida. We all worked together and we proved to the world that sports could be done safely inside a bubble. And, for that, I said I will come back when it counts, because, all they're taking then is the heat from the media, all the negativity that comes along with being first and going in to try to show everybody that we could do it. So I wanted these guys to at least reap the rewards now that we're back. You can't, try to get a hotel tonight in Jacksonville. You can't. You can't get a hotel. We're sold out on Saturday night, and this town's going to be rocking this weekend.
Dana, we had you on the show about a year ago, and I brought up the question, would you guys come back? And you were very adamant about saying that you would. And you said it was going to be, I think you used a barn burner of a show or something like that as the adjective. Obviously, I was skeptic, but you're also a man of your word here. And when you talk about this card, 3 championship fights, I could talk about this card for 20 minutes. But I want to talk about the main event real quick because it's interesting to me because you have what you want in a main event. You have 2 guys that don't like each other that are highly popular. That's all the main ingredients for a main event, and it's a rematch. But I find it interesting, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal were originally going to be on The Ultimate Fighter. Alexander Volkanovski gets COVID, and that fight with Brian Ortega was off. All of a sudden, it seemed like ESPN switched Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal for The Ultimate Fighter, their TV show, which is going to be a big staple on ESPN+, and they put Ortega and Volkanovski there instead, and you move Jorge Masvidal, Kamaru Usman to this card, UFC 261 in Jacksonville. Was that your doing? Was that you saying, hey, Jacksonville, thanks for what you've done for us. Here's the main event. We hope you enjoy?
100%. That's exactly what we did, yeah. When that fight fell apart, we moved those guys over there, which completely makes sense once he quarantined and was ready, to get back out and be around people again. We actually just shot the first episode of that yesterday. I shot the first episode yesterday before I flew out. We went to Nashville and then came here. But yeah, it's exactly what we did.
Fantastic. When we look at this card, I think nobody's really talking about in terms of women's MMA and the evolution of it. It was just like 5 years ago where Ronda Rousey was the biggest thing. She fights Holly Holm. Holly Holm pulls off the biggest upset of all upsets. And with all due respect to Ronda Rousey, she was known for her judo. Now, she had hands a little bit, but she was known for her judo. When we look at Weili Zhang right now, and Rose Namajunas, and Jessica Andrade, and Valentina Shevchenko, they all have one thing in common to me. They're all true mixed martial artists. Whether it's on the ground, whether it's striking, whether it's Muay Thai. Rose Namajunas can throw a flying armbar if she wants to. Valentina Shevchenko tapped out Juliana Pena. So when we look at the landscape of women's MMA, from those 5 years ago where Ronda Rousey was the queen, essentially the UFC, till now, there hasn't been a sport that's had this much progression in any athlete, in my opinion, as far as women's MMA in the UFC.
I agree. And think about all the badass fights that we put on last year. Weili Zhang was involved in the fight of the year last year. Mm-hmm. She won fight of the year. The rest of the fights were mostly men. So, it's unbelievable that, Ronda came in and opened the door for women's MMA, showed me, basically what I was missing. And now here we are talking about, this return event to Jacksonville, and 2 of the 3 title fights are women. And not only are they women's fights, but these are incredible fights. So many people are so excited for Rose versus Weili, and Valentina versus Jessica I actually think that Jessica is the first one in a very long time that poses problems for Valentina.
Dana, you just exited the press conference. Unfortunately, obviously, I have to do the radio show. I got to talk about Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's all good. I'll watch it later. But what was your biggest takeaway from that press conference that I just missed watching?
It's all the stuff that you already know. Usman and Masvidal don't like each other. Yeah. And, Rose is a woman of few words. And, but the governor and the mayor came out. What I think that shows everybody is how important this event really is on Saturday night when you have the governor and the mayor both here at this press conference speaking on this event. It's a testament to what a big night Saturday night is.
Dana, I got one more question for you. In the landscape of MMA, it's always evolving. I think if you would have asked me 5 years ago who the champions would be, I would say probably everybody from Russia, right? Because they have the grappling, and it seems like grappling was like the revolution with Khabib and things like that. We look now in the landscape, and there's all different types of countries being represented. But what I think that the U.S. is missing is that guy to back. Now, I get it. We have Justin Gaethje, obviously John Jones, arguably the best MMA fighter right now, but he's been in some problems and stuff like that, so I feel like he kind of lost that fan base a little bit. Who do you think right now or up and coming can be that next big fighter out of USA that fans can really get behind and support him?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. But you know what's weird about America? When you have a guy from England and he's fighting somebody from America, the entire country gets behind him. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
Australia, New Zealand, the list goes on and on. But in America, it's like we always want to – we get behind – it doesn't matter what country he's from. We want to see the best fight the best. You know, that's the way it is here. This country is such a melting pot of so many different people. It's like the guy doesn't necessarily have to be American for Americans to get behind him and follow him.
It's a great point.
Wrapping up with Dana White, president of the UFC here at Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690. We do appreciate the time. Last year, if you were a stock, UFC is obviously going up, 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 up. More people involved, more exposure, more everything. How much did getting back first last year, going to Abu Dhabi, all those things, propel it even more? Can you already feel that, know that, or is it too early?
No, it's not too early at all, and that's a great question. It was massive. This business is on fire right now, and you're absolutely right. I believe it's because we were first. We went through it when there was nothing on television to watch. We were doing pay-per-views that probably would have done 300,000 buys. They were doing 1 million. So, yes, it was. You're dead on. Our stock is through the roof right now, and the business has never been bigger than it is.
Dana, has any professional sports league maybe reached out to you a little bit about advice? Like, did the NFL reach out and say, hey, what are you guys doing over here? What can we do? Or have you just been kind of carving your own path and doing your own thing?
Yeah, zero, none. These guys, I think there's a lot of arrogance when you talk about the bigger, the big three.
Yeah.
So, listen, they do their thing and I do mine.
Dana, this is it. I promise we appreciate your time. But as you know, Austin fought the Greg Hardy fight years ago, still fighting in the MMA. I'm curious of this, not to be a promoter for Austin here, but for my own education and our listeners and viewers that we have here at Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. The sport is growing with so much popularity. How hard is it now for somebody to get to this level, to get on one of your cards, to try to break through?
Listen, if you've ever fought in the UFC, you are a very good fighter to get into the. We're only looking for the absolute best of the best, and we bring in the guys that we think are the best up and coming fighters in the world. And then you get here, and to stay here is very, very hard to do. To break into the top 10 is almost impossible. Top 5, very few people do it, and hardly anybody becomes a world champion.
Yeah, even tougher as it gets more and more popular, as we know. Dana White, good luck in Jacksonville on Saturday. We appreciate your time, man.
Likewise, my friends. Thank you.
That's Dana White, president of the UFC. Always good to take a few minutes with us. Last year, he was a lot of fun, entertaining, knowledgeable, and educational. I think I learned something every time we have Dana White on. And here he is again today, just 2 days before the city of Jacksonville will hold a sold-out event for UFC. And you mentioned it. You got in deep with it, Austin. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. We talked about it yesterday. But for a UFC fan or even a casual fan, UFC 261, one hell of a card.
Yeah, it's like I was saying. I mean, this is such a cool card because, once again, you have two guys that don't like each other, and you have a rematch, and you have Jorge Masvidal, a.k.a. Street Jesus, who's kind of a household name now, if you will. But with these women's fights, and with these titles, fights, it's a showcase of just how far it's come to me. And that should really be the talking point, is the fact that you're going to see the best of the best. And listen, like usually if I break down an MMA fight, I can say, okay, it's probably going to be a knockout. It's probably going to be a submission. These two title fights with these women, I have no idea what's going to happen. I seriously have no idea. It could be submission. It could go the distance. It could be a knockout. Like, that's how skilled and how versatile they are.
You brought up an interesting question when I asked about how much did that year and going after it and being the first, and Dana White said, hey, it really did propel us. It worked.
Yeah.
But you brought up an interesting thing about other leagues and, are they watching? Are they trying to steal a little something from here or there? Listen, if leagues were smart, they would be doing that. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure what that is, Austin. Like, I'm not saying, hey, you got to be the first back after a pandemic.
But why wouldn't you consult him and ask? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, here's my thing on that, though. My point being this, because I know it happens in our business, right?
Sure.
In the radio business, in the TV business. I don't think we're calling over to the other stations or a station in Chicago or whatever, but we're keeping an eye on it, right? Or they're keeping an eye on us. And so then you take your own you take that little bit of whatever they might be doing and kind of tweak it your own way. So my point being, they might not be calling Dana White, but they might take a thing or two. And it might not have anything to do with the last 12 months. It might be about just the rise of this sport. And they might take that and say, hey, we can do an element of this in our own sport, but they better be watching. That's part of their job as commissioners and people, at the front lines of each sport.
Yeah, but see, to me, this is where you have to keep your ego in check a little bit because, like, to use us as an example, it wouldn't be like us calling another sports station. This would be us calling, like, a political news talk show and asking, hey, you guys are dominating right now. Like, what are you guys doing? You know, to me, it's not even the same realm because you're talking about mixed martial arts, which goes on the entire year. And then you're talking about the NFL, MLB, NBA, which are seasonal. So I get, like, and I get it, like the UFC is kind of I think it's still the black sheep of professional sports, right? Like some people want to say it's still the human cockfighting or it's a blood sport and all this stuff. So, and I get, and it's ran by Dana White, who can be a brash individual himself. So I get that they're in their own little corner right now. But if I'm the NBA and I'm, the National Football League and I'm Major League Baseball and I've watched what the UFC's done. Now, has it been perfect? Pretty close to perfect. I mean, I think back in Jacksonville, they had a guy test positive for COVID and he was off the card, obviously. Yeah, it happened a couple other times, so maybe 3 or 4, just to count on a handful here. But they have succeeded. They've done things the right way. And to run a billion-dollar business like the NBA or NFL or whatever sport you want to talk about, to run that big of a business and at least not, like, pick Dana White's brain a little bit, regardless of what you think about the dude, to me, that's baffling. To me, that's crazy, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, well, if you're going to go fishing, you'd probably give Rick Riles a call. So let's do that right now. Florida Sportsman Fishing Report with Rick Riles. Rick, thanks for calling in a few minutes later. We had an interview with Dana White, but, man, a beautiful but kind of cooler day in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it really is, Brent. Does Dana White know who I am? I mean, asking me to wait. I'm just telling him to watch his back, okay?
You'll be on that card Saturday.
He doesn't want no 5'3", 68-year-old Rick Riles. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what he don't want.
We appreciate it.
It's interesting to me. Seriously, guys, talking about that. It's interesting to me that we have watched boxing just kind of fade away in light of this. I mean, yeah. I would think if the interest was back in fighting, the interest would be back in boxing, wouldn't it?
So, yeah, I mean, I can go on a giant TED talk right here, and I want to hear your fishing takes. I don't want to go too long, but the biggest thing with boxing is that there's a lot of promoters who want a lot of money. So the best don't always fight the best. That's why people love the UFC, because the best are always fighting the best. There's no debate. In boxing, it's like, well, is this guy the best or is that guy the best? You don't find out because there's different promotions.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I'll go with that. Hey, I tell you what, I don't like today's weather for fishing. That's for darn sure. Woke up to way too much north breeze, and that's what brings us this drop in temperatures. And it felt like we were back in early to mid-March again. The ocean was closed, so there wasn't any getting offshore today. Inshore was okay. The fish seemed to have been affected a little bit by this wind. It makes it more difficult to catch them, and it kind of puts them off the feed for a little while. The interesting thing is all the old-timers always told us that northeasters, as we call something like this, blow in increments of 1, 3, 5, or 7 days, which we thought, oh, you guys are crazy. But ever since they told us that, we kind of track it, and this, I think, is going to be a one-day northeaster. Tomorrow it comes around to the east and starts to lay off a little bit. Now, it's not going to be calm for a few days. I don't see it getting pretty until Monday or Tuesday. It'll all be inshore till then. That's okay for the trout and redfish and sheepshead fishermen. They're doing pretty well. I caught a half a dozen sheepshead yesterday with my friends Roger Walker and Brad Reed, and we could have had more. There's cobia on the beach, but not very many of them. There's a lot more manta rays migrating through our area than there are cobia with them. So for the guys who want to go hunt cobia on the beach, they're here, but they're not holding a whole lot of fish. All right, we'll be back to check on it tomorrow with another fishing report brought to you by Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing. Thank you, boys.
Rick Riles, stay on the water and stay out of the cage. Thanks for your time tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, 5:15 each and every day. Rick Riles, the Florida Sportsman Fishing Report. Don't forget, check out the show, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. Saturday morning right here on ESPN 690. Got another football topic or two coming up. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. ESPN690, live from Moe's down here in St. Augustine. Don't forget, breakfast at Moe's, just here at St. Augustine, 6 a.m. until 10:45 a.m., daily in the drive-thru.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Clear and cool tonight, down into the 40s, but mostly sunny and nice Friday, with less wind and mild afternoon high temperatures in the mid-70s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss the buy one, get one free on wedding bands through this Sunday.
Hey, boss. Hey. Oh, yeah, so I've been meaning to ask you, how's your mom like a new smartphone?
She loves it. Got like 5,000 pictures of her cat already.
And how's the Safe Touch security app working?
Now, that thing's amazing. Anytime she goes somewhere, she can just open up the app and check on her house.
That's why they say, with Safe Touch, you're never home alone and you're never away from home.
Yeah, the other day she was at the nail salon when she opened up the Safe Touch app and caught Mr. Tinkles living up to his name.
Well, never away from home. You know, I miss the good old days of casing a house so you know when the owners are away.
Yeah, well, with Safe Touch, those days are gone.
Good for your mom, bad for us crooks.
Just another reason to stick to the Crooks and Russ Golden Rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Simple as a flip phone.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Sir, why are you getting the vaccine?
Why am I getting the vaccine? Because I want to go to a concert with my friends in a full arena.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create Vax904.com. Visit Vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com. Where else can you get lunch and brunch and booze and specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the South Side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. Yeah, they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Lunch and brunch and booze and specials and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the South Side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class.
You've been wanting a new ride, right? But you can't find what you're looking for? Well, check out my friends over at Arlington Toyota. They have over 400 pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs to choose from. Worried about your credit? Well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
The Jacksonville Auto Show is back. Celebrate one of the First Coast's premier events, May 7th through 9th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Check out the hottest 2021 models, ride and drives, classics and exotics, and even historic military vehicles. Everything sanitized in a safe and clean environment. The Auto Show, Mother's Day weekend, May 7th through 9th. Free parking from 5-Star Credit Union. Discount coupons at gate gas stations. Tickets available only online at jacksautoshow.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 1, get an attorney. When you or a loved one have been injured by another's negligence, an experienced attorney can make a huge difference. At Rubenstein Law, we will find all the insurance, make sure your injuries are documented, and work to get you the best result. While each case is different, a well-known insurance company's own study showed people with a lawyer, on average, got more money. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Offices in Jacksonville and throughout Florida.
Max. I can't wake up and say, you know what, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. That's not where I am right where I want to be.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Brent Martineau.
There's 3 islands, and it can be very nice and lucrative, by the way. You could be a huge winner, but you could be a huge loser, too. You might not have a boat to get home.
Austin Lane.
Well, I like that now. I love that analogy.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
So much of this sports performance is, and my Zoom calls are involved with that, is that I've had great players that gone on and they disappeared in the NFL. And a lot of it is because of the sports performance. Either the organization doesn't take it very seriously or the player doesn't. And that's unsustainable in high-level college football or the NFL unless it's very important to you. So that's a question I ask every player.
I was Urban Meyer yesterday during the pre-draft luncheon. I think that's fascinating. All the sports science talk with Urban Meyer, who's been very successful and done it at the collegiate level, making sure it's a priority at the NFL level here in Jacksonville. If it wasn't already, making it even more of a priority here in Jacksonville. Hey, Jags fans, you can win a chance to meet the pick courtesy of TIAA Bank. Just visit TIAABank.com/meetthepick to register each day through draft night. No purchase required to enter or win. For eligibility and other details, see the official rules at TIAABank.com/meetthepick. We're just 7 days away from the NFL draft. Having a good time down here in St. Augustine at Moe's right here on US 1 and 312. Come check it out. The only location serving breakfast 6 a.m. until 10:45. Drive-through only. Breakfast burritos. You can also download the app, find out more. And, of course, Moe's Catering as well. Find out more, come on down, visit Moe's, or just check them out online as well. Brent Martineau here, Austin Lane, and Casey doing a heck of a job balancing all these things. We called some audibles with Dana White and with Rick Riles. Doing a heck of a job. If I don't say it tomorrow, Casey, you've done a good job. But your job is not done yet.
It's like one foot in the parking lot tomorrow, Casey, on a Friday. Friday's when we a little lackadaisical around here, right? We got our eyes on our weekend. Let's focus here tomorrow, too.
And my weekend still consists of working in TV, so I don't have a weekend.
Well, that's a bummer, man. I don't know how to respond to that one.
I'm on 7 of 13 or 14 in a row.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wait, 13 days in a row?
Cry me a river.
My next night off is draft night because I asked for it. So sorry, Brent, I won't be there.
Wow.
Cry me a river, Casey. Don't feel bad for you.
Coming from the guy who's left from the show early about, 100 days in a row now.
Still work the day.
Do what you got to do, man. Pay the bills.
I'm going to leave again in 10 minutes, by the way.
Casey, I figured that much.
By the way,
I'm not surprised anymore.
I did not update this. As all your stuff was going on and you're doing some morning stuff, and whatever that is.
Sure.
I don't even know where that is. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what the latest is. But I've been reworking my contract. I now work 3:02 to 5:45.
Yeah, there we go.
Here on this show.
Cool. Sounds good. All I'm going to say is don't get too comfortable with that, Brent. Because it could backfire. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, you might want to go ziprecruiter.com or whatever those things were that you were talking about just for the last segment of the show.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
The draft is on the way in just a week. Seriously, I am more – Urban said that yesterday. And you got to understand, man, and I'm in a world right now where my kids are playing ball, and this is their first season of playing high school ball. It's a different season, and we are constantly talking to them, especially Kaylee, because she's pitched way more than we ever thought she would pitch. And I'm sensing she's getting a little fatigued and stuff, and just talking about, hey, you got to keep your body in shape, but she just turned 16. She has no idea what that means. She's been eating Twizzlers and sunflower seeds for dinner for 5 years, you know? I mean, it just But so in my world, I'm like, I take what Urban says there, and I'm like, oh, man, Kayla, you got to listen to this. Or Ty, you got to listen to this. You got to keep your body in shape. You know, I never knew what any of that meant. Like, I didn't really think about that. There wasn't that attention on that in high school for me, or let's be frank, it wasn't that attention on me in college. I played at a Division II school. They didn't have those kind of resources to worry about that, and they sure as hell weren't worried about Brent Martineau, the walk-on, you know, making sure my body was right. But it's just an interesting deal, you know, 20 years after. I think everybody is more in tune with that stuff. Everybody knows about that. There's a whole lot of science and education and emphasis on it. But to hear Urban Meyer talk about it, and he went on to say there, he basically, well, he said it in that bite, that, you know, he had guys at Ohio State that he thought were going to be really good players in the NFL, but he believes that the strength and conditioning that they didn't either buy into or the team didn't do enough of in the NFL is one of the big reasons why they failed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big emphasis on strength and conditioning. You said it, right? I mean, from Paz and others doing the foam rollers, we're like, what the heck is that guy doing? How much are you, now that you're 33, you played in the NFL, you fight in the MMA, how much are you aware of what he's talking about? Is he overhyping that stuff, over-dramatizing that, or can it be a significant difference maker from what we've seen in Jacksonville because of something, the emphasis that he has on that sports science and strength and conditioning stuff?
No, I take everything that he's saying wholeheartedly. I think, and I don't want to call Urban Meyer cutting edge because I feel like a lot of NFL teams think this way now, but it's amazing to see how far that landscape of, I guess, you know, performance, I don't know, well, like, I guess just, you know, body, I would say body improvement, you know, but body hacking, if you want to call it that, has come since I got out of the league, you know, back in 2014. Even in the span of 7 years, it's changed drastically. And it is the difference maker. Everybody can show up day one of training camp, be in the best shape of their lives, perform to their best abilities, pending they put the work in. But where the foam rolling, the ice baths, the cryotherapy, you name it, whatever, the yoga, where that comes into play is the longevity portion of it. When it's week 6, week 7, and you feel like your back's against the wall right now and you're banged up and you're sore, that can be the difference between playing out the season and feeling so banged up where you get an injury and you're out for the year. Like that's where this player performance comes into play. Now, yeah, obviously, you know, you can get bigger, faster, stronger, all that too. But I think it's more of the emphasis now on the recovery part and obviously still working hard, but working smarter, which is the biggest thing. Because we've come a long way from throwing around weights like cavemen where we put, 500 pounds on our back and squat it. We put 300 pounds on the bench press and we bench press that. It's all come a long way. So it's still working hard. Make no mistake about it. These guys are going to work their absolute butts off because I'm sure Urban Meyer's going to bring that kind of mentality, but they're going to work hard, but work in a smarter way going forward and obviously recover in a smarter way going forward as well.
Yeah, and I think the attention on this, all the facility talk and everything else surrounding that, there's a lot of probably subconscious things involved in this. Like the facility might be one of them. But there's a mental health aspect. I tell the story all the time. I just told the story to somebody the other day that Miles Jack told me, he's like, oh, yeah. Like I asked him something about, hey, how much do you sleep a night or something like that.
Yeah.
He ended up saying, yeah, I nap all the time. He's like, I nap right in my locker sometimes for 45 minutes.
Absolutely.
They tell me to nap. I'm like, they do? Like, why? Like, why are you napping so much? I mean, I sleep like 5 hours a day, man. I mean, why are you napping? And so he opened my eyes to that. And now you hear other athletes. I mean, LeBron James says he sleeps like 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Somebody told me the other day, like Roger Federer sleeps like 10 hours a day.
And I've shared this story before, too. Aaron Campman swore by getting at least 10 hours of sleep a night, and in which case I asked, I don't think that's possible. But, yeah, I mean, and obviously it worked for him. Now, he had injuries himself, but, when he was in his prime, he was a fantastic player.
But there are there are big studies on the sleep part of it.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like at times, like even, again, I'm not often an 8 hour, 9 hour, definitely not a 10-hour sleeper. No way. But at times you're like, I don't need sleep. Like it's almost like a badge of honor if you sleep like 5 hours a night.
Yeah,
And I don't feel that way. I'm just saying, listen, you're up late and sometimes you got a tea time the next morning.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to hear that and you get educated about that and you see people working on their at the highest of levels, and the athlete especially, even at young ages, sleeping that much. And that's just part of it. So I think it's a fascinating part of Urban Meyer. I don't know what it all means exactly relative to everybody else because I'm not going through it. So I don't know what Pete Carroll does versus what Bill Belichick does, what Urban Meyer does. But I have never heard a coach talk about it this much. And he's only been around here for 3 months.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So it is an obvious emphasis, and he feels it's that important. And we'll see if it makes a difference in Jacksonville, I guess, is the moral of the story. One quick topic before we get out of here for a break and wrap up Thursday here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. The PGA Tour is basically providing bonuses. I'm going to put this in very layman's terms. Bonus money for popularity contest.
Okay.
So the most popular golfers, the most impactful golfers that exist. Let's start with Tiger Woods, everybody. But Tiger Woods, who's influenced the game, influences ticket sales, influences marketing and sales and sponsorships and all these things. They have a formula that they're going to put in play. Can receive like X amount of dollar bonus at the end of the PGA Tour season because of the impact he had on the sport as an individual. And in golf, it makes a lot of sense, Austin, because look at what Tiger has done for the game. Nobody would deny it. The purses are higher. There's more people interested. He's created a whole generation of golfers. And yet every time he goes to a tournament, the only time he gets paid, in essence, is if he fills in a good scorecard and submits that and wins the tournament or makes the cut or finishes wherever. And so now listen, he makes a ton of money market. Tiger Woods doesn't need the money. That's not the nature of the story. But the idea of it, where your biggest influencers of the sport get something in return for being great ambassadors and influencers of that sport. Could we see that go to other sports like the NFL, Major League Baseball? Now, they already get big contracts, but could the NFL say someday, Patrick Mahomes, here's a cut of the pie because look what you did for us this past year?
No. I hope we don't go down that road because in golf, like you told me that, and now it sounds like we're Instagram models and we're trying to get as many likes and follows as possible. Like that's what I think of when I hear influencers. I don't need golfers to do that. Like I get it. Tiger Woods is the biggest name in golf. Yes. Why is that? Well, because he looks different. Number one, obviously, because he's black. But number two, it's because he won all the time. I think if Bubba Wallace wins 3 or 4 championships in a row, he can be a household name. Like, if you win, you're going to be known. If you win on a consistent basis, people are going to tune in to watch. I think that's all that needs to be said. We don't need to talk about, okay, well, if I look this cool to some group of people, then you're thinking too much about it. Like, you just have to have the best of the best win, and it's going to be fine. Like, Jordan Spieth could have been the next guy, but he didn't win. Like, he was off to a good start, and then he faltered a little bit. Rory McIlroy, all the hype around him, he talks different. He looks different. He had some success right away. Well, then he kind of fell off a little bit. That's what it comes down to. You don't need to manufacture, people watching the thing because, they're almost like influencers where, hey, I like this guy. Like, nah, let them be themselves and compensate them when they win championships.
Well, and I think that's the way it will be, but it got me. Listen, golf is a little bit different in this essence because there are no contracts in golf. Like Rory McIlroy is not guaranteed to make $10 million next year on the golf course. So the incentive, the impact could still be felt, and he could be compensated for that. So I'm not telling you it's the same model. It's a very different model the PGA Tour operates under to begin with. But I just thought it was a fascinating, should Michael Jordan still be getting checks from the NBA?
Oh, I got yeah.
No,
I mean
for the impact that he had on the NBA.
No, I don't think so. I don't get checks for the impact that I have on this show, so no. I don't think so. I doubt it.
Hey, start having a bigger impact and you might.
Oh, shock your mock sweeping the nation, man. I'm still waiting for your first segment to come around here.
Hey, I'll work on my first segment as I say goodbye to my last segment.
You work on your first segment, and I'll work on my first endorsement, and I'll see you there.
Yeah, very good. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. Take it home from here. Thursday action at Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 rolls on. We're live at Moe's in St. Augustine. Don't forget breakfast at Moe's right here in St. Augustine. This location only, 6 a.m. until 10:45. Drive-through only. We'll be right back.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter update.
Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The NFL Rules Committee approved a few new rules, including a one-year experiment to make recovering onside kicks more plausible, where the kicking team would only be allowed 9 players within 25 yards of the ball. Other changes included are the relaxing of numbers that only certain positions could wear and the eliminating of overtime in the preseason, amongst other rule changes. Last night in the NBA, the 76ers' Joel Embiid almost sent the game against the Suns in overtime with a full-court shot that rimmed out at the last second, finalizing the score of Phoenix 116 and Philly 113. Here's Embiid after the game.
I mean, when I threw it, it looked good. I mean, he almost there. I saw the screenshot, and it looked like he went in and out, and that's just unfortunate.
The SportsCenter update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The Max Kellerman Show.
The Nets started out the season without James Harden, who's their second best player, and then have played recently without Kevin Durant, who's their best player. Also, when Kyrie joined the team, he and Harden had to figure things out. There was an adjustment period. And so the Nets' record does not reflect, their entire record does not reflect the team they've become.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com. We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Beards Diamonds has been busy this spring,
getting their showcases ready for the largest inventory of wedding bands in North Florida.
So if you're getting married soon or want to upgrade your bands, don't miss Beards Diamonds' incredible buy one, get one wedding band sale.
Going on now through this Sunday and only at Beards Diamonds. All wedding bands are buy one, get one free.
Save thousands.
Plus, all stackables.
All right-hand rings.
All eternity bands and more are buy one, get one free.
See hundreds of the latest styles from famous designers at beardsdiamonds.com.
It's the largest selection of wedding bands in North Florida at the guaranteed lowest price.
Couples wait for this sale all year.
Buy any wedding band and get the other band free.
Now you can go bigger and better with the setting she's always dreamed of during Beard's Buy One, Get One sale.
Going on now, but hurry, it ends this Sunday.
Get the lowest prices in Jacksonville, guaranteed at Beard's Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein with another edition of Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 3, insurance companies are not your friends. They are not your good neighbors, and you are definitely not in good hands. Insurance companies fight every day to not pay claims. They don't want you to get a lawyer, but they have lawyers. So what should you do? Hire someone who is really on your side right now. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Offices in Jacksonville and throughout Florida.
It's Good Morning at Moe's in St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1. It's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. Made to order food in the drive-thru. Hot, fresh breakfast on the go. Make it a better morning with Moe's Southwest Grill. Start your days with the home wrecker breakfast burrito. St. Augustine location only, served daily at 6 a.m. Moe's is ready to serve you breakfast. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
Jags fans, here's your opportunity to get in on the draft day action. Enter the TIAA Bank Meet the Pick sweepstakes today for your chance to win a special meet and greet experience with the Jaguars draft pick. Learn more at TIAABank.com/meetthepick. No purchase required to enter or win and will not increase your chances of winning. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C., 18 years and older. Entry period from March 29, 2021 through April 29, 2021. To enter and for official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit TIAABank.com/meetthepick. Sponsor and administrator, TIAA Bank, a division of TIAA FSB.
Boss! Crooks R Us just put out a special bulletin about Safe Touch security.
Special bulletin about Safe Touch? Oh, this is gonna fire up my ulcer, I know it.
Boss, the headline says, Safe Touch Security has announced their new advanced video surveillance system.
Oh, here it comes.
Oof, this is huge. It's a multi-camera, interior and exterior professional surveillance system with 24/7 video storage.
Great. Just what we need is Safe Touch up in their game again.
Boss, this is next level. I think Fort Knox would be jealous of this thing.
Deep breaths. They can keep their fancy camera system. It doesn't change the Crooks R Us golden rule one bit. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Nope, doesn't change it, but it sure underlines it.
Just get me a glass of milk, will you?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jacks.
Trev, he just cool, calm, and collected. I mean, he really don't voice his opinion much. When he do, everyone stops and listens. And I feel like Trev, the sky's the limit for him, man. I mean, it was really a great experience, a humbling experience for me to be able to play with the number one quarterback, number one pick eventually. So for me, I'm just forever grateful, hoping that I got to play with him.
Travis Etienne?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I figured as much. The question comes, will they be reunited? Any shot that Travis Etienne could become a Jacksonville Jaguar? We'll see. You know, I think if it's outside of the first round and we're past that 33rd pick, and if he falls, we'll find out. You know, I mean, teams are always in the need of a dynamic running back. Now, not in the top 5, not in the top 10, sometimes not in the first round, but teams are in the need of a dynamic running back. And to me, Travis Etienne, he fits that mold wholeheartedly. Speaking of dynamic running backs, Alvin Kamara, you know, because this is the trend now of NFL players. They have to do the proverbial and literal flex every once in a while, and they got to post their workouts on Instagram and all social media platforms. I'm not mad at it because every once in a while I can kind of get some tips here and see what the latest thing is doing. Well, Derrick Henry started a little bit by essentially balancing on a medicine, doing the push-up position, putting his feet on a medicine ball for balance, and then putting his feet in the squat rack with a band that goes across the squat rack. So essentially, he's balancing on a medicine ball and on that band. And he's doing push-ups, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Now, I get what some of the nonners, as I like to call them out there, some of the athletes living in the glory days, some of the nonners want to say, oh, I can do that. I can do that easily. Okay, maybe you can. But go ahead and weigh, 240 pounds. Go ahead and be, 3% body fat. And try to do that for, a count of 20. And then get back to me and tell me how hard that truly is. But not to be outdone. Obviously, Alvin Kamara, another running back, had to one-up Derrick Henry and add a weight vest to it. So it begs the question, Alvin Kamara or Derrick Henry? We're out of here right now. I could go on for this debate for a long time. But since I'm in Jacksonville, and since I'm a little more frightened of this dude than the other dude, with all due respect to Alvin Kamara, because I like the nose piercings, I like my running backs like I like my music, alternative. But I'm taking Derrick Henry. I'm taking Derrick Henry all day, man. The size, the stature, the throwback style of that running back. I don't care if he catches 2 balls all season. If I hand you the ball off in cold temperatures in the playoffs, I like Derrick Henry's chances. But let's not lie. Alvin Kamara, no running back slouch himself. Well, for ESPN 690, Brent Martineau on the road. Casey pushing all the right buttons. I'm Austin Lane. We'll see you tomorrow. Last day of the week. No feet in the parking lot. We'll bring it tomorrow. I promise. Have a good night. Take it easy. Stay casual. And be safe. We're out. Peace.